Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic little day. Hey, David, man, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, we're back, man.
We're back. We're back. Guess who's back? Back again. Yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hello. So we're back, and we are live, my ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody's having a fantastic little day.
Why are you saying little day? You said it
It's
twice.
It's a little day. I was actually supposed to go live yesterday, but then I couldn't. I had to delete the live stream because things didn't work out.
Did you do it like 8 times?
Yeah, I did that like 20 times probably. I had several live streams set up that I had to put on the next day and then eventually cancel because I couldn't figure it out and all that. But I have been busy doing lots of things, and including moving and all that. So it's kind of been a rough time. A rough time. But here I am.
And I just went and recorded an entire series on the Islamic dilemma with Al Fadi for his channel, and then took a flight back last night, and then flight got canceled. Flight got canceled for the connecting flight. And it's, of course, one of these things where they like delay it, then delay it, then delay it, then delay it, then delay it, and then tell you at like 3 a.m. that they canceled it. And then anyway, so, yeah, and I had to come back today.
He's probably very sick of me, man. Oh, this is funny. Now that you bring it up, I had no idea we're there. He had actually invited me as well to come down there. And then he messaged me like 50 million times, and I didn't respond. And then I
Al Fadi?
Yeah. Then I eventually said, hey, I can't right now. So, yeah. I'm a mean person.
Yeah, I know.
But we shall do that.
What's in it for me? What's in it for me?
He's actually really good. He likes to take care of your needs and costs and things like that if you want to do that kind of stuff. So no worries at all. But
and he goes to a super dope studio. Like it's the best studio that you can go to. I think I'm gonna go out there and record my own Islamic dilemma series. I still have all those scripts. Matter of fact, that's what happened a couple years ago. I had all those scripts and was going to do that 50-part series, and the same thing happened. I got to an airport. I think this was either during COVID or right after it or something like that. But this is when flights were all like messed up and stuff. And I was flying out there. We were supposed to record all day Tuesday and Wednesday to get 50 video series of an entire apologetics course of like 4 to 6 minute videos, 50 of them. And I had all these people lined up around the world who were gonna not just like subtitle them. I was going to give them the transcripts for everything. They were going to translate them and re-record them in their own language so that the entire series would be available in dozens of languages. And was heading out there on a Monday, got to the connecting flight, which happened to be at the same airport where it happened at yesterday. And same thing, they delayed the flight, then canceled the flight, and they said they could not get me on another flight until Wednesday. This was Monday. There was no flight the next day at all. And they couldn't get me there till Wednesday. And that would have been like halfway through the second of our 2 days of recording. And so anyway, that got destroyed, and I was like, oh, man, I'll get back to this when I feel like it, because I was really ticked off. But anyway, I might go do that sometime in the next couple months. But be super dope. And a series on the Islamic dilemma at a super dope studio.
Yeah, like the stream, everybody. God be with you. AP said, Bushido Ninja, thank you. May Muhammad bless you immensely. What's wrong with you? Opposite of Allah, AP was gaslighting us on YouTube, making us think he was going live until now. That's true. That's pretty much what I was doing. Ethu Chica said, AP, good to see your face again. Good to see your face.
That's the last thing that's good to see on AP.
Dude, everybody's here to see my face.
It's awfully Turkish.
Everybody's here just to see my face.
What did Muhammad say about Turks? Their face look like shields or something like that? Or
small eyes and shields. And
it's right on the money. I mean, if you want to say anything positive about Muhammad, when it comes to Turks, he was right on the money.
It's pretty messed up. It's pretty racist.
I'm thinking of converting over that one, man.
Pretty racist. Great machines at API, you're a EU4 kind of guy or a CK3 kind of guy? EU4. David doesn't know what we're talking about. So I love that, man. I love it when David doesn't know what we're talking about. That's like the best thing.
I know Call of Duty Zombies and Halo Wars.
Why are you talking about games, man? This was these were books.
Were they? I've never seen you read a book in my life.
Just kidding. They were games. All right, David, man, what have you heard about this guy named Ben Shapiro?
I haven't actually watched any of it. I saw and I shared it and I commented on it or something like this, but someone had like quoted what he said in the clip that they shared, but I haven't seen any of what he said. I just saw everyone losing their mind, and Candace said, screw you and the midget horse you rode in on.
No, she did not say screw you. That's not.
She said something.
She said F you.
Oh.
She said F you, Ben. F you. That's what she said. So Ben Shapiro went to America Fest by Turning Point USA. I was actually supposed to be there as well, but I had to kind of cancel my plans, which is very funny. It was
wait, you canceled your plans? You said, "Hey, I'm going to go do this," and then you changed your mind and then didn't do it?
Yeah, very surprisingly.
That's shocking right there. Never would expect that from a Turk.
David is joking about it because that's what I do that very often. So I was supposed to go there, but I didn't have a speaking slot, but I was probably going to have a panel slot or something like that. But I also had too much stuff going on. I just couldn't do it. So
who also had a slot? Muhammad on the night of
Mohammed. We're going to make up for that. So, Kilometers sagt, kannst du kurz Deutsch sprechen? Nein, ich kann nicht Deutsch sprechen. Ich will nicht Deutsch sprechen. Ich will einfach nicht Deutsch sprechen. Das hier ist ein englischer Channel. Danke. All right. So you haven't seen any of this, have you? So what Ben Shapiro did was, so this America Fest 2025 event was planned when Charlie Kirk was still alive. In fact, he is the one who announced the first confirmed speakers. Later on, of course, what usually happens is that the first speakers are announced and then tons of other speakers are added later on as they confirm and so on. After Charlie Kirk was brutally killed by some trans-loving gay dude.
Or
by the Jews.
By the Jews working with the Macrons and some Egyptian planes and the FBI and some Mormons and a beekeeper cult and like 487 other people and groups in the conspiracy.
And a bunch of veterans in the audience and all that. Mm-hmm. After that happened, things changed up a little bit. People thought that that Charlie's killing would unite the conservatives, but what happened
like it did. Seemed like it would.
What happened instead was that people like Candace Owens started spreading wild conspiracy theories and accusing multiple different people, including the U.S. government, the Israeli government, Jews, beekeepers, Mormons, and then eventually even Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk, of being complicit in Charlie Kirk's killing.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is that some people still cover this up as just asking questions, including Megyn Kelly. She's covering it up as, oh no, she's just asking questions. She's allowed to ask questions. She's not asking questions. She has openly and clearly accused every single one of mentions of killing Charlie Kirk.
How is Nick Fuentes the one who was right about that? I said that when he posted a clip about Candace. I was like, I can forgive Candace for all the other stuff. I will never forgive her for making me agree with Nick Fuentes, because he just pointed out the obvious, which it's weird how so many other people are just, it's just asking questions. Because she'll do this thing. Well, she'll. Oh, and this guy, Bob. I mean, he was there, and so what's he doing there? And oh, look at this. Yeah, what's going on there? This is just. This is not. I'm not getting a vibe off this. Vibing, and I don't. No, but I know. And she'll say all this stuff, and then like, by the time she's on to the next conspiracy, people go, "Oh, but you accused Bob." She'll go, "When did I say Bob did it?" And so anyway, Nick Fuentes saw that. He goes with Netanyahu and stuff, and she's like, "Where did I say Netanyahu did it?" And he goes, "Yeah, you just strongly implied it." That's what she does. She strongly implies and strongly implies and strongly implies, but she usually doesn't say, "Yes, this person did this." And so when it later turns out, hey, you've been saying all these things, you have no evidence what you're actually saying. You accuse this person. She goes, "Where? Where did I say the person did something?" And so anyway, Nick was right on the money there. She strongly implies and strongly implies and strongly implies, but usually doesn't outright say it. And then when people are like, "Hey, you accuse this person or you accuse this group, and where's the actual evidence?" What? Where did I say that person did anything? And by that time, she's on to the next one.
That's exactly what she does. And now she has gone fully insane. In fact, we might look at her responses after Ben called her out, but let's have a look at this. So Ben was the first speaker. Ben Shapiro was the first speaker at America Fest 2025. And what he did is what so many people were waiting for, which is to call out Candace Owens, to call out Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and all the others. And he was struggling a little bit over the last years, in my opinion, but this speech that he gave, it was amazing. So,
you were talking about like everything looking like everyone is going to be united and so on, and that's exactly the way it looked. I think in terms of like things that point towards a revival and things that impede a revival, because I'm like, you guys either have a revival or you're done. You cannot stand. You will not be able to stand without a massive revival. And so when things happen, it's like, oh, all signs are pointing towards revival. But here's what I wasn't thinking. Like, hey, if you actually are, this is a spiritual issue and you're about to have some sort of revival, there are demonic forces at work too. And I think that's what I underestimated earlier after Charlie Kirk's death, and all signs were pointing towards massive revival. Bible sales were going through the roof. Churches were packed, and it's like, oh, this is going to backfire on all the evil people who are cheering on his death. It's going to lead to a massive revival, which is the opposite of what they wanted, and so. Whatever else happens, it's good that we're about to get an awesome revival. And then all hell breaks loose.
Hey, by the way, your hero got beat up earlier. You probably didn't see it, but your hero got totally beat up.
Jake Paul?
No.
He got beat up.
Andrew Tate got totally beat up.
Well, hang on.
Hang on.
Jake Paul fought a guy who, not like when he fought Tyson, who was heavyweight champion decades ago. He fought a guy who was heavyweight champion a couple years ago. But Tate's fighting this guy with his little man bun. Ouch. Ooh, gosh. That was right on the chin, man. Oh, too much weight. Beautiful shot by Chase around the Chase to Moore. Actually impressed that he didn't go straight down with that. That is a perfect shot. That is the last shot you want to catch on. I mean, yeah.
He got totally beat up and lost the fight. Here are some of his final moments, with his brother very disappointed that he lost the fight, which is very, very sad.
Oh,
very sad.
No, who's gonna want to be our cam girls?
So, anyway, let's listen to Ben Shapiro. Here's Ben Shapiro.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's obviously a massive honor to be here.
Is this loud enough? I kind of have hearing problems today for some reason.
Sounds okay to me.
Okay, good.
Here at Turning Point USA. It's even more of an honor to follow Erica Kirk a heroic figure and a true American patriot.
You just said he spoke first. And he said he followed Erica.
Oh, we don't count Erica. Playing banned TPUSA speech, thought PON is a sin. It is. Zagros, what's up, Zagros? Thank you. Thumbnail suggests Candace is about to say Shahada. Yes, it is. Bullet McGuire said, hey, AP and Dewey, did you guys see the Nick versus Junior debate earlier? It was hilarious. What? Who? What?
Nick who?
I used to what? What? Who? Nick who?
Fuentes?
I don't think that would happen. I don't know.
I don't see how that would happen. There's
Nick, some other Nick. Probably.
Nick who? Yeah. Got to be some other
Nick who? Nick who? Nick who? David, how did the Somali Christian Fund go? Good. Okay, good.
Oh, awesome!
Really believe.
No, people gave way more than needed, which they usually do. So that goes on to help with other things. So
that the best way to judge a goodness of a man is to see the goodness of his wife and his children, and on that measure, Charlie was unsurpassed. Erica and her children are in all of our hearts. And of course, this is an incredibly bittersweet moment. It's absolutely bitter because of the murder of our friend Charlie Kirk, an irreplaceable human being. I knew Charlie from the time he was 18 years old, and I watched him build himself into one of the most powerful exponents of conservatism in America, one of the most powerful coalition builders in American history. But it's also sweet to see the number of people who continue to remember Charlie each and every day and to carry on his mission. Well, today, I want to talk about the future of the country. And the future of this country, this amazing country, relies on the future of the conservative movement.
By the way, people have said that Ben Shapiro is all about Israel, and he just cares about Israel, and he just wanted to talk about Israel on stage. So I'm going to take a shot whenever Ben Shapiro mentions Israel during his speech. I'm saying it right here and right now. I don't care how drunk I get. I don't care how drunk I get. I will take a shot of whiskey whenever Ben Shapiro mentions Israel during his speech.
I'll go grab a bottle.
It relies on what TPUSA defines as its core mission: freedom, free markets, and limited government. And most of all, the future of this country relies on truth. This country relies on truth because victory, true, real, lasting victory, cannot be achieved without truth. Victory without truth is victory for a lie, and that is no victory at all. And unity without truth is no unity. It is merely solidarity in falsehood. You see, we live in a chaotic time, and a time when lots of people are asking lots of legitimate questions about the conservative movement. What ought we to think about the relationship between free markets and traditional virtue? How should we craft a pragmatic foreign policy that spreads our interests and upholds our ideals? What governmental means are appropriate to achieve political ends? All of these questions aren't new, of course. They've been asked for as long as human beings have been talking about politics, thousands of years. And over the course of this conference, you'll hear a lot of opinions on a lot of these questions. I have my own perspectives on them, of course. You can hear them every single day on my show. My fundamental values have been the same for 25 years. Peace through strength on foreign policy. Traditional values on social policy. Free markets with regard to economics. But today, I want to talk about something even more important. How to discern those attempting to speak truth from frauds and grifters. Because something is...
Look at that. As soon as he says frauds and grifters, everybody knows what he's talking about.
No, they're like, well, who could he be talking about? Everyone is so sincere.
New. An informational environment rife with both opportunity and chaos. Opportunity because the legacy media gatekeepers are no longer in charge of what we see and what we hear.
He said gatekeepers.
And chaos because an anarchic informational environment means we actually have to be smart in how we assess the information and arguments that we hear. Why does that matter? Well, because today the conservative movement is in serious danger. It is in danger, not just from a left that all too frequently excuses everything up to and including murder, The conservative movement is also in danger from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle, but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance. These people are frauds, and they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time. And they are something worse than that.
Well, I want to try my buttons quickly.
Liar! You're a liar! You're a liar!
Did that work?
Yeah, well, yep, it did.
Okay, good,
Yep,
good.
heard it clearly. What's good is he's just keeping it general and not naming names. That's what's good. And that way, you know, people can draw their own conclusions, but he's not actually calling people out by name, and therefore, you know, not trying to pick a fight here.
Exactly. And that's what's very good about this. Yeah.
A danger to the only movement capable of stopping the left from wrecking the country wholesale. So today, I want to discuss 5 obligations that people who speak to you on matters of importance have to you.
So I have to point out there are these pauses that happens because for some reason the video footage was glitching at Turning Point USA. I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh wait, that's on Turning Point. That's not on you.
No, it's Turning Point. So the Ben Shapiro footage speech was glitching. Another speech later on was also glitching. Later on they fixed it, but something was going really wrong with the broadcast.
I want to speak to you about our duties. Our first duty is truth.
He said duty.
He said, I was thinking, I knew you were going to say.
We owe you the truth. That means we should not mislead you. It means we shouldn't hide the ball. We shouldn't be deliberately obscure about what we're telling you. We have an obligation to clarity and to honesty. This means that we actually have to be clear in the language that we use. We should not traffic in generality. We should not say things like, they shot Charlie, without specifying whom we mean by they. The person who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, and whom all the evidence points at, all of it, is a gay, trans-loving furry.
Hey, I'm starting to think he might be criticizing Candace here.
The funny thing is, I don't think that is meant to be funny, but people were laughing when he said gay, trans-loving furry.
People just think furries are funny, man.
Yeah.
If we are going to target ideological movements, we should talk about the fact that the radical trans movement treats all those who oppose it as existential threats. Or if we're going to talk about the Democratic Party making room for the radical trans movement and echoing its inflammatory rhetoric, well, we should talk about that. Those are specific problems, and they require specific responses. When people say they shot Charlie, however, they are instead trafficking in vagary that results in increased hatred without proposing any effective response. They are fostering despair and rage, and that makes things worse. We must also be honest about what people say and do, regardless of what that means coalitionally. It is the job of politicians to build coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So,
what he's building up here is kind of very, very nice. He says it all in the beginning. So we must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth.
Hey, so he's speaking at this Turning Point event. Notice the difference between like his like perfect speech and you, hey, I'm the apostate prophet, everyone. You guys want to check out my YouTube channel sometime? I kind of have a vague idea of where I'm going with this, but yeah, you should check me out on YouTube sometime. Anyway, you know, there's some stuff going on with Islam and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing tonight? Hey, this is a big crowd. There's a lot of people here. Wow.
The funny thing is that he actually started out by remarking that there is a very big crowd, which, by the way, is very interesting. When I was speaking there on stage, there were like, according to the estimates, there were 7,000 people in the audience. At this event here,
7 billion.
At this event here, there are between 20 and 30,000 people.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like 4,000. I was going to be like, ha ha, AP had more people watching him.
So it's fantastic. And there were significantly more live viewers watching online as well, like double or triple the amount.
Where was this?
In Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Is this that's where they're headquartered, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
For example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk
for instance.
So,
now, did everybody see what just happened? Everybody's waiting for this moment.
For instance, people are like, is he going to keep it? Is he going to keep it unspecific the entire time, even though we know who he's talking about? Nope. He's like, all right, I choose violence.
Drop her name and see how the audience reacts. And it gets even better. The audience doesn't leave it very ambiguous. It gets even better.
murder of Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk
Hey, did you hear? Did you hear what happened there? It looked like there were some people like, oh, come on, don't do this. And then the other people heard that and they're like, no, he needs to go ahead and say this. And they started cheering louder.
You can hear that there is a switch or a change or something. It's like, oh no. But you will see now it will not leave much ambiguity as he goes on with this, how the crowd actually feels about Candace Owens.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
Wow.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA.
See how the crowd feels about Candace Owens?
Obligation to call that out by name. Erica Kirk.
See how the crowd feels about Candace Owens? She walks around, people who love her go around acting as if, oh no, Ben Shapiro is becoming unpopular. Nobody wants to side with Israel anymore. Everybody hates Israel now. Everybody loves Candace Owens. Nobody trusts Turning Point USA anymore. Candace Owens is the one who's asking the right question. She's speaking the truth. Yeah. Here you have 20,000 to 30,000 people. And you can clearly see that the sentiment is we've had enough of Candace's lies. And it gets even better.
Hang on. You know what's really screwed up? I mean, the difference here, right? Between these two. I forget if I saw a clip of Candace or if I saw one of her tweets, but her response was, Ben's getting really mad, a little too mad over this. Seems like he's trying to deflect attention away from Israel. So I guess I'm going to have to focus on them again. And it's like, she's just saying, I'm going to punish you by blaming Israel more. I'm going to punish you for speaking out against me by blaming Israel more. And that kind of shows you like her motivations. It's, I'm just weaponizing. I'm weaponizing this to attack people I don't like. And if you cross me, I'll blame you too. And that's just like screwed up. So yeah, that's hats off to Ben here. Right on the money.
Hey, why are people so angry about this, man? I posted this on Twitter or on X, and lots of Muslims have been attacking me over this. They're going crazy, insane. I don't know why. I posted 1,400 years ago, Muhammad flew on the back of a flying donkey to heaven and back. Then he woke up. And then I posted this here.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't actually click on it. I saw you post it, and I saw people flipping out. I didn't know it was actually a video. I thought it was a picture.
They're going crazy, man. I don't know why. So many people are attacking them.
What's crazy is you're correct according to the sources. He didn't actually leave his room, which means at most it's some sort of vision or dream or something like that. He wasn't actually gone.
And TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
Good point.
And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
Yes, there are cowards. He just said there are cowards who are speaking at this event.
David, you heard nothing yet, man. You've heard nothing
really?
yet. Yeah, no, you've heard nothing yet.
Are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
Everybody knows at this point that he's specifically talking about Tucker Carlson and possibly Megyn Kelly, and the crowd loves it.
The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly. Second, because we owe you the truth, we owe you the duty to speak out of principle, not personal feeling. It should not matter whether we despise someone or whether we love someone. The question is what they say and what they do, and whether those things are morally decent or not. On a political level, do they foster freedom, justice, and prosperity? On a personal level, do they treat others as they would wish to be treated? Personal feeling is not a substitute for moral judgment. To take again the Candace Owens situation.
What the hell is wrong with your profile picture, random person 3.1?
I mean, that's kind of right on the money, too.
Man.
As an example, friendship with public figures who say or do evil things is not an excuse for silence on the matter. Politics is not the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
Ooh.
Politics is about principle, and if you are willing to sacrifice basic truth and simple principle in favor of emotional solidarity, you have betrayed your fundamental duty to the American people. Grand Canyon University.
Hey, be quiet, man.
Oh my goodness. They just randomly put in a commercial here?
What's wrong with you? Alexis says, I love David and AP, but to side with Ben Talmud Shapiro is hilarious. Alex Vissi, stop pretending that you like us or side with us or anything or love us. I just have one thing to say to you.
Get the hell out of here!
All right.
Yeah, better idea for anyone who wants to criticize Ben here. Say what he's wrong about and not just, oh, Talmud Ben. That's all you guys say about anything. Show us that what he is saying is wrong. Because as far as I can tell, he's spot on here.
Well, you have Groypers coming in, of course, here because
the Groypers.
Turning Point USA is Jewish.
First off, I should break the omerta here and just be a little bit clear. The notion that people in our industry are close friends, like we all take holiday breaks with each other and go to each other's kids' graduations and stuff, is generally untrue. Some people do that, most of us don't. We see each other at conferences and we talk on the phone and all the rest. We're business colleagues. But even if it were true that other public figures were our best friends, our very best friends, that does not relieve us of our duty to speak out of principle and not to cover up evil or shy away from addressing it out of friendship.
Yeah, Talmud Ben.
So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
Dang.
Now here we get a mixed reaction from the crowd. You see, it's very loud, and I'm sure you can hear that some people are. It's quite unclear, of course, with the context here, whether they are booing Ben Shapiro, whether they're booing Tucker Carlson, whether those who are cheering on what he's saying or cheering for Tucker Carlson. It's very, very unclear. But the crowd gets quite loud here.
So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
There's a mix there.
Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter. And when Megyn said this week, quote, my goal and my job here is to try to understand, yes, where Candace is coming from on this, and says she sees no purpose in inserting herself, quote, into this on one side, that is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
Damn, boy. There you go. He's made it as clear as possible.
Tell us what you really think, Ben.
Uninspiring philosophy says, David Wood, it was funny that Muslim guy calling you babe. David, who called you babe, man? What's wrong with you?
I don't remember. Someone did. Oh, yeah. That was, I was doing some live stream and this guy was flipping out and then he started saying, listen, babe.
Gay.
Because he was totally gay. And I started telling him, look, man, this ain't Muhammad and El Zut here, man. Don't be talking like that.
Gay. Dana Lush, great on Islam stuff lately. Should contact. Yeah, I see she has been posting good stuff about all of this and about Islam. Might as well get in touch with her or something. I don't know.
Not in a
Dana.
sense, though.
Dana. I tend to sometimes pronounce things just the way you pronounce things in German. I'm very sorry about that. I'm actually not sorry at all. Jorius says most full name is anagram for each desert zoot. That's true. Potato Sandwich says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Isaiah 5:20. Based.
It is totally based.
Noah Felga. Hey, I've missed my sound things, man.
I need to hook mine. I need to hook mine. I haven't used mine in like what? Like almost 2 years or something?
You used yours on like one live stream and then never use it again.
I used it for a while. I had the song on there too. Ain't gonna follow no child molester, sex offender, prophet pretender.
Nice. Noah Felger says, I'm a Christian afraid of going to hell. I'm afraid if I pick the wrong denomination, I'll end up going there because some denominations think other ones are not saved. Is this fear unwarranted?
Yeah, Jesus didn't say, oh, you better get the right denomination because all the others are going to hell.
Yeah. I think the proudest thing would be to come and see and observe the denominations fighting and all that and claiming we are the only truth and all the others are going to hell. That would be like totally the Christian message, as it seems to me. Jingoistic pig. But of course, I cannot say anything about this. I can't comment on this. Don't ask me. Jingoistic pig Crowder joining Team Fuentes is a real falling off. Yeah, he started defending Nick Fuentes. And when I said that he just asked softball questions to Nick Fuentes on his live stream, some people were like, no, but did you see it? He actually challenged Nick Fuentes. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah, the only part I saw was, so Nick, do you hate every single Jew on the planet?
Are you anti-Semitic? So Nick, are you evil? No. Oh. Well, I heard from the media that you were evil.
Nick,
so
are you the most
true.
evil person who's ever lived? Yes or no? No. Oh, you heard it here, folks. See?
He says it's right here. He's not evil.
It's all. We got Nick all wrong here, guys.
What a ridiculous thing. Sit me down with Nick Fuentes and I'll ask him the questions you need to ask, man. Not, are you anti-Semitic? Do you hate every single Jew? Are you evil?
All right,
Are
Nick.
you Satan?
All right, Nick. Now we're going to have some really difficult questions for you. Question number 1. How did you become so awesome and based?
And then Piers Morgan has him on. And the thing with Piers Morgan is that if anybody, if the worst scumbag goes and sits down with Piers Morgan, that scumbag will look like a good person. So that's what I was afraid of. Apple Baker Al Puff Daddy says in Turkey, 3rd century fresco art of Jesus found. Based. David Bell made a super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. OSTS says, glad I didn't book ticket to America Fest hoping AP would be there. I already got burned at Sound Faith and had to settle for David. Sound Faith was not my fault. That was not my fault. Don't blame me for that.
Wait, what?
That was not my fault. Not going there was not my. I was on the list of speakers, but eventually didn't end up speaking, and then also didn't go there. But that was not my fault. It wasn't my choice. America Fest was completely my choice, but I also didn't prominently announce that I'm going to be there. So good.
What Sound Faith? Oh, that was the apologetics conference.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, what? What did I go to?
It's more likely that Candace killed Charlie and is doing this to confuse things than that any of her insane theories are true. Candace jilted lover says, it is pretty obvious to everybody right now that that there is a very strong possibility that Candace Owens is behind the killing of Charlie Kirk. So.
I posted that in a little Twitter poll, I don't know, a week or two ago. But it was to make a point, right? Candace will just, like, anyone who has anything to gain by anything, she'll say, look, this person or this group has this to gain by this. And then that's enough to blame them for it, right? Like, it was Israel killed JFK. Why? Well, JFK had said at some point that Israel's nuclear program should be investigated. Oh, you see, that's why they killed him. But that's our evidence that there's a possible, I mean, JFK almost went to nuclear war with the Soviet Union. Are there other people who had some kind of motivation to go after that dude? Yeah, there were the world was filled with people who really had a problem with JFK. But anyway, the point was, she'll just say anyone who had any reason for anything and then give the reason, and all her fans will go, oh, the person, that person or group or whatever obviously did it. Well, so I asked the question, who has profited the most? Who has benefited the most from Charlie Kirk's death? And the overwhelming response was Candace Owens. And so, wait a minute, if she's the one who profited most from Charlie's death, how is she not on the list of suspects? And the fact that she's blaming literally the entire rest of the world, everyone except her and her closest allies, seems like she's trying to deflect attention from someone.
Interesting. This is very funny. I'm just checking the speakers schedule agenda on Turning Point USA for America Fest.
Oh, that's weird. I thought Ben was first.
I thought I see here
Russell Brand. Oh my goodness.
Dude, he's the coolest person in all of America, man. What are you talking about?
He's got the stupidest accent of anyone ever. Show me anyone with a dumber accent than Russell Brand. With that said, he's really intelligent.
He doesn't have an accent. What are you talking about? You have an accent.
All right, and as we go alongside, we're trying to say the imperialistic dogma, the service.
Shut up, dude.
He speaks authentic English as it is meant to be spoken. You have an accent.
What's crazy is I've seen him like on Saturday Night Live and stuff. He can do all kinds of accents. Like if that's your stupid accent and you could do other accents, man, do a different accent. Like Mel Gibson, right? He's from Australia. He talks like an American. Why? He realized Australian accents are stupid and you sound like a dummy. You sound like a Lily J when you have an Australian accent. So what happened? Well, he's an actor. Do an American accent. And he just did it long enough, and now everyone thinks he's just American.
So here's the funny thing that I wanted to point out before David went on a whole rambling spree once again. Here you have Ben Shapiro given his time from 5:35 to 6:10, and here you have Tucker Carlson from 7:15 to 7:45. Ben Shapiro was given more time to speak than Tucker Carlson.
Based.
However, Tucker Carlson spoke longer than Ben Shapiro.
I heard Tucker was just like rambling and incoherent.
He was completely rattled, man, and we have to check that out in a little bit.
And I heard he was saying like, you can't criticize you can't tell people what they're allowed to say. And it's like, that's you telling people what they're allowed to say. If free speech has no limits, then me telling you to shut up, that's my free speech.
I'm not sure why people are arguing about accents, but Russell Brand is literally speaking proper English while we are all speaking accents. So not sure what, there's no disagreement about this. Anyway.
You know, the side of the widow with 2 children whose husband was shot live on camera in front of all of us. Friendship with the person accusing TPUSA of a cover-up of Charlie's murder is no excuse for cowardice.
Yeah, Tucker, you coward.
And
Third,
Megan,
and relatedly, we have a duty to take responsibility for what we say and do.
And Russell.
If we hire awful people, we're responsible for that. I have some experience there, as you might suspect.
He's talking about Candace.
That means that if we offer a guest for your viewing, we owe it to you to ask the kinds of questions that actually get at the truth. If we agree with the guest, that's fine, but we should own it.
now here is Rich Arnold saying, you guys need to address the main argument, which is why white people should not be allowed to have an identity or their own country spaces. First off, number one, I agree that white people should have an identity. But secondly, where in the world on this live stream or the speech is that the main argument? Are you a retarded groiper?
Yeah, that's like someone, oh, but the Talmud. It's like one-track mind. It's, hey, here's what I'm interested in because I'm a freaking lunatic who's obsessed with one issue, and therefore I go into any discussion on any topic and go, the real thing you need to be addressing is this thing that I'm obsessed with, because if I'm obsessed with it, then everyone should be obsessed with it.
I'm white.
Yeah.
So what kind of ice cream do you want?
I'm white. White.
White.
Okay.
So I want vanilla. It's the only ice cream. But there needs to be a whole section in the grocery store for just vanilla stuff. Just vanilla. For me, there needs to be a vanilla section that doesn't have anything else in it. I don't want moose tracks. No Neapolitan. Gotta be just vanilla. Vanilla. And I want marshmallows there. I want vanilla, and I want marshmallows.
Would you
and
like a
Connoisseur.
drink with that? So would you like a drink with that?
And I want Q-tips. I want the Q-tips. I want the Q-tips beside the vanilla ice cream and the milk.
Juice.
Not the no chocolate milk. No chocolate in my milk. No chocolate in my milk. Plain milk.
So, for example,
hang on.
What?
No, this is actually really important. What Ben was saying right there. I was thinking this months ago, and what I was thinking was, all you guys over at the Daily Wire, you should be going to war no matter what it costs you or no matter how many bridges you have to burn, because you bear responsibility for helping create that monster. You bear responsibility. If I help create a monster and that monster starts to destroy, I have to pay whatever price it takes to go and deal with the problem that I helped create. And so, yep, and so anyway, point is, he's doing it. He just said it. We did it. So I'm dealing with it.
I've created a monster, but nobody wants it.
if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes,
you know,
the Nick Fuentes who said that the vice president of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet. The person who said that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, retarded idiot. The person who said, and pardon my language here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and f***ed it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. If you have that person on your show and you proceed to glaze him, you ought to own it.
No, I really like his choice of Nick Fuentes quotes that he picked, and I think it's also a very, very good strategic move, considering that JD Vance is right there and is also speaking at the event. And it is Charlie Kirk's organization. Everybody there loves Charlie Kirk, and Nick Fuentes hated Charlie and called him a retarded idiot and evil and all that, and servant of the devil and things like that. And also a quote where Nick Fuentes, it is on camera, directly said, and I took Turning Point USA and I effed it. Mm-hmm. I effed it.
But
like,
yeah, now we need to work with. We should all work with Nick Fuentes. No divisions on the right. Nick Fuentes.
But I feel like you could have delivered that in a better way to emphasize it more. Still good.
Yeah, could have said he zooted it.
Yeah.
On your show and you proceed to glaze him, you ought to own it.
Tucker. And Candace.
There is a reason that Charlie Kirk despised Nick Fuentes, and indeed even chided Dinesh D'Souza for debating him. He knew that Nick Fuentes is an evil troll, and that building him up is an act of moral imbecility. And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian. Hosts are indeed responsible for the guests they choose and the questions they ask those guests.
Wow.
You know, I was kind of forgetting about Ben Shapiro over the years, but this speech here,
This is one of the greatest speeches ever given. I mean, right on the, like, what, any of Ben's show me what he said that is wrong at any point so far. Like anything. What could you even reasonably disagree with that he has said so far? I don't even get it. It's like he's saying exactly what needs to be said right now and calling out exactly who needs to be called out right now.
Cracklin said, why did Steve Bannon trash Shapiro? Wait for it. You will hear it in a little bit. Ben Shapiro really pulled no punches. He went all in. So.
Fourth, because we have a duty to truth, we also have a duty to provide you with evidence of the claims that we make. Emotive accusations, conspiracy theories, and just guessing questions, that's lazy and stupid and misleading. None of them are a substitute for truth. None of them are a substitute for evidence. So, when Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it. When
I have to play that again, man. That was awesome. That was awesome.
That should be on your soundboard, dude.
I know. None of them are a substitute for truth. None of them are a substitute for evidence. So, when Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Oh, yeah.
When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein.
Dang.
Check the record. Our duty to provide you evidence means we actually have to do much more than just ask questions. Just asking questions is something my 5-year-old does, and it's really cute when it comes from my 5-year-old. But when grown men and women spend their days just asking questions without, seeking answers, they are lying to you. In fact, they're doing something even worse. They are seeding distrust in the world around you, and they are enervating you in the process. So, for example, if many speakers, including Tucker Carlson and others, get on stage here at TPUSA and claim, without proper evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein was running a Mossad rape ring being covered up by the Trump administration, they are not actually uncovering a conspiracy or effectuating a solution. They are claiming a special provenance to information they won't let you see, which builds their power and leaves you with none. They are also implicating in their speculation actual human beings, good human beings, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, and yes, the President of the United States, even if they're too cowardly to say President Trump's name. And that means you won't trust those good people in the future. You haven't gotten smarter, you've just been manipulated. When forced to demonstrate their evidence, these same people will often refuse to provide it. They'll claim ignorance. They'll pretend they're outside the system. And they don't have access to actual information. They're just asking questions. But many of these same people have direct pipelines to informational sources. So, for example, if Tucker wants answers to his questions about, say, Jeffrey Epstein, he could call the Vice President of the United States. He's quite close with him. But he won't, because that might undermine the empty speculation. None of this means there aren't actual real conspiracies in the world. Of course there are. But actual conspiracies require actual evidence. Yes, there was a Russiagate conspiracy, and we know the names of the people involved and what they did. We know Hillary Clinton and Fusion GPS and James Comey and Loretta Lynch and Adam Schiff. We know all of those people. Yes, there was a COVID-19 conspiracy. We know that Anthony Fauci worked to shut down alternative solutions from people like Jay Bhattacharya. But when people posit a conspiracy and then provide you no evidence, they are doing you a fundamental disservice, and they are making you stupider in the process.
And that is what matters. That is precisely what matters. This is my biggest issue with conspiracy theories, with most of these conspiracy theories, and also with what Candace Owens does. It's not asking questions. The evidence is already out there. The evidence of what happened is already out there. You don't need to further speculate about it. You don't need to deny the evidence and create the wildest, dumbest conspiracy theories about it. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't vindicate Charlie Kirk. It makes people dumber. You teach people as a public figure, as a leader, to deny actual evidence, to look at falsehood and nonsensical non-evidence instead of looking at the real evidence, instead of looking at the truth. And you make people get used to being dumb. So Candace Owens makes people dumb. Tucker Carlson makes people dumb. Nick Fuentes, that's completely retarded anyway, but these people make people dumb. That's the biggest problem with it. And allowing such people to become the voices of the conservative movement, I'm sorry to say, but makes conservatives dumb. That's just how it is.
Finally, because it is our job to make the lives of our audience better, right? That's really our job, is to give you more information to make your lives better. We have a duty to propose solutions. That's why we have to talk about.
No, Holstrand. I would never say that Fuentes is retarded. That's not what I meant. I meant that his audience is fully retarded. Nick Fuentes is very intelligent. I will say it again, and I said it before. He is, of all the people that we have mentioned, he's the worst. The worst. But he's definitely not stupid. That guy is very intelligent.
He's extremely intelligent.
He's also very likable, very charismatic. That's the problem. If he was just totally evil, but he was a complete idiot, and he wasn't likable, it wouldn't be a problem, right? The fact that he is so messed up, the fact that he lies so much and that he spreads evil, and then that he is also, on top of that, quite intelligent and quite likable, is what makes him such a big problem. And he knows that most of the people who follow him are completely retarded. So that's the problem.
At our problems in order to find the solutions. That's what politics was supposed to be about, after all, finding solutions to our common problems. If we speak endlessly about the problems we face, without ever positing a solution other than wrecking the system or centralizing power in a cult-like figure, we are not finding solutions. We are merely making problems worse. Just asking questions, positing vague conspiracies, raving like Alex Jones about the secret confederacies that control your life, none of it makes your life better. None of it. In fact, it makes your life markedly worse. That's because if you truly come to believe that nothing in your life is in your control, you can't even take control of your own life. You despair of your ability to change your own circumstances, and then you fail. And you...
It's actually so simple, but apparently it has to be said by rather intelligent people like Ben Shapiro. That is a huge problem. This is my big issue with conspiracy theories. Like there was a the first event several years ago by Tommy Robinson, where a big rally was held for him. I'm not sure what politician that was, but some UK politician came up there on stage to support Tommy Robinson. And the speech that he gave was basically about how globalists control everything and how voting is basically pointless and how you can't really change much with the voting. But the guy was also part of a political party, which is really ironic. If you go out there and tell people all the time that that globalists or some people are in control of everything and they are controlling everything behind the scenes and there's nothing you can really do. First off, that's a lie. It's complete nonsense. Secondly, it teaches people to be desperate, to be completely fatalistic. Why are you doing anything at all then? It's not like you're going to rise up and overthrow the system, which you shouldn't. But if that is the case, which it is not, then nothing really serves any purpose at all. But people like this easy, very, very simple idea of, oh yeah, the globalists are in charge and these groups are controlling everything. It's something that you've just heard, yeah, that is being controlled by these big organizations, and there's basically nothing that you can do about it. Fantastic. You made people get used to just not doing anything and becoming hopeless.
Yeah, that's this is what manipulators do. You can have this is locus of control, right? Your locus of control is your like personal view of how you view where the responsibility lies primarily for your situation in life. So if you have an internal locus of control, that means that you view yourself as primarily responsible for your situation in life. If you have an external locus of control, you believe forces outside of you are primarily responsible for your situation in life. And lots of people might think that having an external locus of control is more psychologically healthy for you, because then you don't blame yourself. You don't blame yourself for the way things are. You blame things outside of yourself. And so you're not blaming yourself. So that's going to be better. Well, the problem is if everything outside of you is responsible for your situation in life, well, then you're not the source of change. You can't fix that because you don't control everyone around you. And if they're controlling everything around you, you're kind of helpless. Manipulators want you to have an external locus of control because they want you to view them as the person who's going to fix all these things. And you become dependent on them. If your situation in life sucks, well, then you need to depend on them and support them. Politicians do this, right? Look at all these problems in the world and you're just so helpless and I'm the one who's going to fix these things for you. Okay, well, I'll vote for you. You're the one who's going to fix all the things that suck about my life. It's actually way more psychologically healthy if you view yourself as prime. Even if things suck in your life, it's more psychologically healthy for you to view yourself as primarily responsible, because then you think you can change your situation. If things are caused by you primarily, now in reality, things are a mixture. There are all kinds of forces outside of you, and you do things in your life. But you are way more likely to try to change your situation in life yourself if you view yourself as primarily responsible. So anyway, what Candace Owens and everyone else is doing is everything, all the forces in the world are all conspiring to do all this stuff. You are basically completely helpless against all these conspiracies around you. And so what should you do? Well, you should support the person who's exposing all this stuff, because that's your only hope. Your only hope is to support Candace Owens or this politician and so on. And so that's what everyone's falling for right now. Nick Fuentes is the one. Oh my goodness, the Jews are controlling everything. So what can we do? We gotta support Nick Fuentes. He's the one who's going to expose all this stuff and stop the Jews and so on. So Candace Owens, and keep in mind, this isn't just anyone can do this on any side of any issue can do this, but yep, don't fall for that nonsense, because then you're helpless and the only thing you can do is support the person that has convinced you that they're the only solution to the problem.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about locusts, David. You keep bringing it up. Anyway.
Must not fail. Because here is the most fundamental truth of all in the United States. For all of its problems, many of which, a huge number of which, are real and serious, the United States is still the greatest country in the history of planet Earth.
Wait a minute, what about Israel? Chunk Yogurt says Israel's the greatest country.
We have the greatest constitution ever devised by man. We have the greatest founding philosophy ever put to paper in the Declaration of Independence. In this country, you can make of yourself what you will. And if there are true obstacles standing in your way, we can all work together to remove.
So I used to like Ben Shapiro, but until this point, but now I kind of am disappointed, considering that he says that the United States is the greatest country with all these great values, instead of saying it is actually Israel. Here I was thinking we are Israel first, and now he's selling us out.
Yeah, and he's making it sound like America is all that. Come on, man.
We are Israel first, man. We are Israel first. I thought it was clear. What's wrong with you?
Them. That, by the way, is the essence of conservatism, that we live in a world created by God with a logic and a rationale, that we as human beings were created in God's image, as it says in the book of Genesis, with creative capacity and the power to choose, and that in a free country of limited government and defined powers with property rights and equality under law, our destiny is in our hands, and that we all have a duty to make the most of that historic opportunity. Anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is lying to you, and they are making your life worse in the process. Now, that lie may feel good in the moment. It may excuse us from taking the
I don't want to engage with trolls, but this is just funny, man. LARPing for cash says, AP, your Juno fits
funny.
with right in with your anti-white political views, LOL. Oh, man.
Hey, it is cool. Ben, everything Ben's saying right now is locus of control, and he's like, that can apply to individuals, but you can apply it to an entire country. Do you and your country view everything outside of your country as primarily responsible for problems, or the Jews controlling everything and so on? If so, then anyway. But he's explaining everything. He's just not using the term. So anyway, smart guy.
I hope LARPing for cash is just joking here, because that's pretty good.
corrective action we can take on a personal level to fix our lives. It might give us someone else to blame for our own failures. But in the end, the lie...
Hey, I think he heard what you just said. He's basically explaining the same thing.
Yeah, he's explaining. He heard me.
kills
It's pretty nice.
not just your future, but the country that we've been given. So, for those of us who talk for a living, that's our job. To discuss America's problems with truth and with evidence. To provide...
Anyway, so that was the most of the important part. There is his ending of the speech here.
Where
Facts
he
don't
says
care about
we
your
all need
feelings.
we all need to worship Israel.
And
I skipped that part. Yeah.
that happens to be true. You know, when you engage in a conversation, I've said this to a lot of people, when you engage in a conversation, it's very important to sort of determine the end of the conversation.
Here's actually a funny part. It's not part of his opening speech, wherein, by the way, he never mentioned Israel, not even once. But here is the Q&A section, and some dumbass comes in and asks him a question about...
But what about you being a Jew, Talmud worshiper?
Thank you for being here, Ben. You cited during your speech truth as the most important tenet of American conservatism.
But what about the
Why,
Jews controlling?
therefore, did you call irrelevant the Israeli attack in 1967 on the USS Liberty, which left dozens of American servicemen dead and hundreds wounded?
Are these idiots cheering?
So what...
There are actually some people cheering.
Groypers, Nick Fuentes was right.
Now, I know for a fact what Ben Shapiro actually said. In fact, let me pull it up.
Nick Fuentes was right. They got the Groypers up in there.
Let me pull it up quickly.
Nick Fuentes impregnated Turning Point.
Come on. Now it's all muddied because of this event here. What he actually said is not, oh, that's irrelevant. Let's not talk about it. That's not what he said at all. It's not what he said at all. That's, however, what people, foremost the gropers, claimed he said. But let him explain it.
I actually said...
Dead and hundreds wounded.
So what I actually said is that if we're looking at modern Israeli-American relations, looking at an attack that happened mistakenly by multiple Navy reports, multiple Israeli reports, and all available evidence, and using that attack in order to undermine today's relations between Israel and America, that's irrelevant. As irrelevant as it would be to cite a piece of evidence from World War II or from 1776 to define America's relations with, for example, Great Britain or Germany today. That does not mean
That was a bad example, but still.
that the attack wasn't horrible for the Americans involved, that it wasn't bloody and terrible. The Israeli government paid reparations to the people who were killed. If you look at the actual military record of what happened on the USS Liberty, it was clearly a mistaken and tragic attack. The people who frequently cite the USS Liberty, however, are not talking about the specifics of the USS Liberty. I suspect that the vast majority of people who bring this up are doing so in order to suggest that Israel deliberately attacked an American ship because Israel deliberately wants to harm America. It is connected generally with a larger point. I wonder if that's your point.
If the truth...
If the truth, what about the Candace?
Now, David, do you think he will actually respond to the question that Ben Shapiro brought up?
No, because Ben was Ben asked a good, relevant question. What is your intent here? Are you saying that something that happened in 1967 it's crazy. Like, you could assume everyone is right. Everyone, like Candace Owens and all these people, are right. Israel's like, hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna attack all these Americans. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill these Americans. Ha ha ha. You could say that. You could say, but what would that mean for now? It's like lots of stuff happened. Lots of stuff happens over the decades, and then later on you say, okay, we've moved on from that. So anyway, even if you assumed that they're correct, what does that have to do with the relations now? You have completely different leaders now. What are you saying? But here, like, what is your intention in bringing this up here? And it sounds like he's going, the truth is on fire.
You can actually have things like these. Wait, not like that. Was it? You can actually find quite a few lists of. You can just Google it and can find it very, very easily. Friendly fire, where you have dozens of such events happen between countries over the decades. The long, unfortunate history of friendly fire incidents in conflicts, in U.S. conflicts.
Oh, but by the way, that 1967, they even had friendly fire killing of their own people, right? Yeah.
The funny thing is, it's not very funny, but during armed conflicts, I think between 10 and 20% of deaths are caused due to friendly fire. Of course, that's different from firing at a ship, but between 10 and 20%, it sounds very, very high, but this is very normal. Between 10 and 20% of deaths on either side are usually inflicted by friendly fire. So friendly fire is unfortunately extremely common in wars and in conflicts. But between the US and others, a lot of friendly fire incidents also took place over the decades, including different countries being responsible due to misidentification and misfire and all that for the deaths of many American troops. America being responsible through misidentification and such for the deaths of British troops and many others. So stuff like this is very, very common. Do you ever hear about any of these incidents as much and as often as you hear about the USS Liberty nowadays? You don't. Yeah. The USS Liberty incident is the only one that is constantly being brought up all the freaking time.
Yeah. So what's the intent there? Yeah. The first thing I remembered the U.S. Mistakenly bombing a Chinese embassy. I remember that from when I was locked up, and then I looked it up because I don't remember where it was. But it's the United States bombing of the Chinese embassy in Belgrade. The bombing of the Chinese embassy, also known in China as the May 8th incident, occurred May 7th, 1999, during the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia, when a B-2 Spirit dropped 5 joint direct attack munition satellite-guided bombs on the embassy of China, killing 3 Chinese journalists and injuring 27 others. According to the U.S., the intention had been to bomb the headquarters of Yugoslav weapons importer Yugo Import, 440 meters south on the same street. President Bill Clinton apologized for the bombing, claiming it was an accident. Now, think about this. You bombed a Chinese embassy. Oh, we were trying to bomb someone else. Well, guess what? If you're Chinese and you really want to have a problem with the U.S., you just bring that up all the time. Oh, why'd you bomb our embassy? Oh, it was a mistake. We thought we were bombing something else, but we bombed your embassy. It was a mistake. Oh, really? Really? You guys didn't just want to bomb a Chinese embassy and get away with it? Are you kidding me?
Look at this list here. Afghanistan, Pat Ullman. It was celebrated moment when Pat Ullman turned down an NFL contract with Arizona. Friendly fire, but violated. Let's go to numbers here. On one of the Iraq War's deadliest days for American troops, as many as 10 Marines were killed by U.S. airstrikes ordered by a Marine air controller who mistook their vehicles for enemy forces. A Pentagon investigation of the events of March so-and-so found communications problems.
Oh, wait, there are communications problems?
So, communications problems resulting in the American killing of 10 Marines. Which is highly, highly unfortunate. Does this now mean that this was actually deliberate and America is actually our greatest enemy? America is actually the greatest enemy of America. This couldn't have been an accident. It must have been deliberate. 4 Canadians died in April 2022 when an American pilot dropped a 500-pound bomb near where the troops were apparently conducting a live fire exercise. The pilot blamed the bombing on the fog of war, saying he mistook the Canadians' gunfire for an attack by Taliban forces. He said his superiors never told him the Canadians would be conducting live fire exercises that night.
By the way, did you catch that? It's I didn't know they were going to be there and be doing live fire exercises. So that's similar to the USS Liberty. That Israel said, "Hey, do not enter this area of the Mediterranean because we're watching for Egyptian ships coming this way." So, U.S. do not put any ships in here, because we're waiting for the Egyptians to, and then the U.S. a ship goes in anyway, and they bomb it. You see, the Jews are trying to kill the Americans.
Another incident is here in Afghanistan, Iraq humanitarian mission. One of the worst self-inflicted losses in U.S. military history occurred in April 1994 when F-15 fighters shot down 2 U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopters in the no-fly zone over northern Iraq. 26 people were killed, including 15 Americans, military officers from Britain, France, and Turkey, and 5 Kurdish workers. They were supporting UN humanitarian relief efforts on behalf of Kurds in the aftermath of the Persian Gulf War. The F-15 pilots thought the Black Hawks were Iraqi craft violating the restricted zone.
But how could they not know that they were U.S. Black Hawks? It's impossible. They would know this. Here's the thing: if that had been Israel shooting them down, we would still be hearing about this.
We would never hear the end of it.
We would hear. Candace Owens would be bringing this up on every show.
1991, 35 Americans and 9 British troops were killed by friendly fire in the Gulf War, and so on and so forth. Incidents like these happen all the time, but the only one you ever hear about repeatedly is the one that is, by all evidence, determined fully to be unintentional, to have been resolved. Israel paid reparations for years. That involves Israel. That is the only one you ever hear of. Why? Because it involves Israel. Because it involves Jews. That's the only one you ever hear of. And unfortunately, not many people are smart enough to bring up the fact that many cases like this happen between countries. Ben Shapiro happens to be one of the smarter ones who actually brings it up. And his opponent has no response. Listen.
Truth or your point. I wonder if that's your point.
If the truth matters, then the Israeli government must be held accountable for that attack. The American flag was flying on that ship. You do not mistake an American ship for a foreign one when our flag is flying.
So,
wait a minute. Just to be clear, are you saying that an Egyptian ship could not fly an American? Assuming you saw the American flag, an Egyptian ship could not fly an American flag to make you think that it's an American ship while they come to attack you?
According to this guy, all of these incidents we just mentioned were also deliberate, of course.
Yeah, because it's all American stuff. And then
he said Israel must be held accountable. Israel was held accountable.
And they paid reparations,
paid reparations and has severely damaged its relationships at that point. And now it's no longer relevant because it's far in the past. That exactly is the point. But the guy has only one brain cell, which is why he's like, no, the truth matters.
And we can spend the rest of the time talking about the specifics of the U.S. Liberty attack, or you can actually go look at the naval investigations that were done, multiple naval investigations that were done. The reality is that people were flying Mirage planes for the Israeli military at the time. The USS Liberty was sailing in an area where it had essentially gone off-grid. The Israeli military mistook it for an Egyptian ship. They thought it was shelling Al-Arish, which happened not to be true. In the initial attack, the American flag was knocked down, and then the attack went on for about 90 minutes. And then as soon, you can hear this, by the way, on the tapes of the Israeli pilots talking to each other, as soon as they realize that it's an American ship, they call off the attack, they speed a ship to try and help the USS Liberty. There have been multiple unfortunate friendly fire incidents between Allied forces, including, for example, in the Gulf War, where U.S. forces were responsible for killing about 9 British troops during the Gulf War. It's an unfortunate reality of war, but you're not answering my question, which is, what is your broader agenda in asking the question? Because I suspect that your question is not limited to your specific ire over an incident that happened in 1967.
But the truth.
I think you should question any foreign country's relationship with our government.
That's totally fine, but I'm just wondering why you
serve American interests.
Again, I'm perfectly fine with questioning any country's relationship with the United States. But again, I'm wondering what your motivation is in bringing up a 6-decade-old attack as though it is the #1 issue in assessing the relationship between Israel and the United States today.
Well, many problems persist to this day, but it's interesting that you say 6-decade-old incident when there are many people in this audience who were alive for that attack, as if this is something that's irrelevant.
There are people there who are alive
No, it's
for
just
World
not
War
particularly
II.
relevant to assessing the relationship between the United States and Israel today, in the same way that in 1967, there are a wide variety of countries with which the United States had different relations. Okay, it's clear you're not going to actually answer the question, so I'm happy to move to this one.
No, I mean, think about this. I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, he brought up Germany. Germany did a lot of messed up stuff. What does that have to do now with U.S.-German relations? I mean, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. What does that have to do with relations with Japan now? Why is it Israel? Why is it Israel the only country holding that standard?
The truth matters, and we have to question the relationship between any country and America, and we have to focus on America first.
I'm just the disturbing part is that people actually cheered for that idiot.
David, the truth matters, and we should be questioning anything. So why are you saying it doesn't matter, David? The truth matters, David. The truth.
You know what's funny? The guy actually posted that guy who just asked that question and spoke like Frankenstein's monster. He actually posted that on Twitter.
This is my debate with Ben Shapiro where I humiliated him and he had no answer.
The truth matters.
Don't make fun of him, man. What's wrong with you? Anyway, I'm going to get to some super chats here, and then we shall listen to the first Meltdown reaction. Paul, if you heard Candace Owens in 2016 tried to avoid pay rent, claiming the apartment got her yeast infection anyway. I think calling her fans candidates. Yes, she did indeed refuse to. That's actually very funny. Wait, recently, I think Tim Pool brought this up because he just recently found out about it. He brought this up and he was mocking her over it. So let's just quickly go to that because it's a very, very funny glimpse into what the heck Candace Owens is. What kind of a person Candace Owens is. Let's see. Where is it? 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 Mold. Come on, man. He just recently brought this up. So anyway, what happened is that Candace Owens was renting an apartment and she refused to pay her rent. And then she tried to sue the owner of the apartment by claiming that she was harmed in that apartment because there was mold and she was exposed to that mold, which made her sick. And to prove that, she posted a photo, or she gave the court a photo from the hospital where she just looks kind of weird in the morning. The court didn't grant it. The landowner countersued and she had to pay $20,000. That's what Candace Owens does. She tries to scam people and defraud people, even in her personal life, and loses court cases because she doesn't want to pay her rent. That's the kind of person that Candace Owens is. Very reliable. Nordine, what's up, Nordine? The real reason Islam still exists isn't ignorance, but demonic mind manipulation. Thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are mental phenomena that demons can manipulate, much like psychoactive drugs can alter the mind. Islam will only collapse when that spiritual attack ceases. 2 billion people who believe in Yajuj and Majuj are evidence of that. Powerful. David, what do you think? Thank you. Kargat the Wise says, now I really respect Ben. He showed that he has integrity and courage. I agree. I'm conservative boomer. I'm surprised Candace doesn't blame the kitchen sink. She blames everything else. Keep up the great work. Hit the like button. Everyone hit it indeed. Fox McCloud, last time people were united was the night of Al-Zut. Dawa Shoal, I thought Allah was going to play a trick on me again, but glad to see you live again, AP. I have been asking questions to the Candifu cult on X, but I got blocked. Why is Tucker speaking there? Well, Tucker, so Charlie Kirk was always a fan of, even if somebody harshly disagrees with me, but defends conservative values, he should be here and speak. And Tucker was also, during Charlie's lifetime, a good friend of Charlie. And he has a past of being very friendly with the conservative movement. I'm pretty sure that to this day, Charlie Kirk wouldn't want Tucker to be excluded from the stage. He would still, despite Tucker's vile behavior and stupidity, Charlie would still say, I hate it, if he said it, if he would say this, but he should still be speaking. That was Charlie's idea of things. He wanted everyone to speak, no matter how dumb and how bad he finds some of the things that they do. That said, I think it is the point that the time has come for somebody at Turning Point USA to probably say, you know what, we probably shouldn't be hosting him anymore, because now he's directly aligning himself with the people who hated Charlie Kirk, and also directly mocking everything Charlie Kirk stands for or stood for. I think he's gone a little bit too far. During his latest speech, he was mocking people for Islamophobia.
Yep, Charlie would have loved that.
Yeah,
Tucker is right. The biggest problem is Islamophobia.
And Tucker Carlson also wants to buy property in Qatar now because he loves Qatar, and he says Qatar is our best ally. You know what the funny thing about Qatar is? In Qatar, it is illegal to build churches and to put crosses on them. In Qatar, it is illegal to walk around with a cross exposed on your chest. In Qatar, especially if you're a Qatari citizen, if you have a cross on you and walk around with it, that is illegal. You will be arrested. You will be fined. You might go to prison. That is Qatar. That is what Tucker Carlson claims is our greatest ally now. The Book of Esther is basically Jews lobbying in a foreign government to protect themselves, says Get Al-Zutlit. In other words, Esther equals AIPAC, Bible equals evil. That's a funny point. David, what do you think?
Yep. So Tucker would have to agree that the Bible is evil because they lobbied a more powerful foreign government to help them.
Very, very powerful. MTX says, Candy lying that Jews controlled slavery. It's a good time to teach people about Muslims did it, and how it lasted longer than Europeans doing it. Candace went full retard, and I think she deserves her own full show to debunk everything she has said. But just recently, because of Ben Shapiro's speech here, she had a complete meltdown and started actually spreading brutally disgusting conspiracy theories, including, but not limited to, this.
I challenge Black Americans to wake contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men, okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another. Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade.
Okay.
We've buried a lot of it, but it's there, and you can
Okay.
find it.
Okay.
I think all of us need to wake up to this, because it's
So for those who don't know, this is a conspiracy theory that is actually so stupid that it is not even considered a believable conspiracy theory. It is complete garbage. It is a conspiracy theory that was started by Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam, who wrote a book or published a book which was called something like The Relationship Between Jews and American Slave Owners or something like that. The Nation of Islam, the most reliable movement in America, started this ridiculous fantasy conspiracy theory that those who were responsible for the slave trade in America were actually Jews. That Jews were the majority of slave owners in America. It is complete nonsense. In reality, Jews made up a very tiny percentage of slave ownership in America. It was called The Secret History of Blacks and Jews. Is that what it's called? Secret History of Blacks and Jews. That's true. That's what it was called. Book by Louis Farrakhan. Here you go. That's what it was called. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews is a 3-volume work of pseudo-scholarship published by the Nation of Islam. The first volume, which was released in 1991, asserts that Jews dominated the Atlantic slave trade. The secret relationship has been widely criticized for being anti-Semitic and for failing to provide an objective analysis of the role of Jews in the slave trade. The American Historical Association issued a statement condemning claims that Jews played a disproportionate role in the Atlantic slave trade, and other historians, such as Wim Klooster and Seymour Drescher, concluded that the role of Jews in the overall Atlantic slave trade was in fact minimal. The book uses selective citations in order to exaggerate the role of Jews. The funny thing is,
they always do?
Yeah, at some point the book actually, there was a very, very funny section where the book shows a statistic, and then we could probably expose that in another episode. It shows a statistic and then directly puts a text under it that completely and directly, obviously contradicts the statistic that they put up. It's not very surprising because it's the Nation of Islam and Louis Farrakhan publishing it, so they're probably functionally retarded. But this is basically where this originates from. The Jews dominated the slave trade. It is complete nonsense.
Well, I mean, think there's the bigger issue here that this is how Candace acts, right? Oh, yeah. A Jew criticized me. Well, I'll show you. I'll tell black people that Jews were the main ones who enslaved them and turned black people against Jews. It's like, this is evil. If Ben Shapiro says something, respond to Ben Shapiro. Oh, now I'm going to get the Jews because of Ben Shapiro, because a Jew criticized me. This chick is a lunatic, man. Candace Owens is an evil lunatic, man. I'm just saying it.
Here's Edgar saying, you could just look up who the owners of the slave ships and who the traders were. Newsflash, they were Jewish.
So this is one of those look it up comments. The look it up comments are generally given by ridiculously idiotic conspiracy theorists who actually don't want you to look it up, but they say look it up because it sounds cool. So I encourage everyone to look it up and to Google the following question. Actually, do it for yourself. I'm not going to do it. Do it for yourself. If you want to take an actual advice, do it for yourself. Google the question: were most of the owners of slave ships?
Hey, I just Googled it.
Jewish.
I just Googled it. I Googled, were most slave ships owned by Jews? No, the vast majority of slave ships were not owned by Jews. Right, historical evidence shows Jewish participation in the slave trade was marginal, especially compared to other groups, and claims of Jewish dominance are false conspiracy theories promoted by extremist figures. While some Jewish individuals did participate in the trade, as did people from many backgrounds, Jews were never a major force as ship owners or financiers in the transatlantic slave trade, which was primarily run by Portuguese, British, Dutch, and other European powers.
Oopsie.
Look it up. Google it.
No,
Google
David.
it. Look it up.
Not
Google it. Idiots.
You're supposed to look it up on 4chan.
But I mean, look at this. Here's what's really messed up. Whoever this Edgar B guy is, watch. If you see him somewhere, he'll bring up the same. Oh, Google it. Just Google it. You'll see it. They don't care about reality, man.
They don't want you to actually Google it. That's the issue.
They want you to think, oh, well, if he's saying look it up, then I'll just trust him, because obviously he wouldn't be telling me to look it up unless he really knew. So I'll just trust him.
Look it up on Gab.
Gosh, you guys are
Gab,
stupid,
look it up
man.
on 4chan. That's where the truth is.
Look it up on CandaceOwens.com. Bunch of idiots, man.
Track.
This woman is trash. She is complete trash. I find it funny how she also starts going down the progressivist leftist lane and says they traded us. Nobody traded you, dumbass. You are not a victim. Nobody traded you.
But a Jew criticized me, so I'm gonna get all blacks to hate all Jews.
In fact, Jews made you famous. If there is one bad thing that Jews did, it's that they made you famous, that they gave you fame. Okay, Candace, you absolute trash.
Yeah, we can say that. Jews did disproportionately help Candace. Jews were disproportionately responsible for helping make Candace Owens famous. Way more than they were disproportionately running slave ships.
Jews gave her all the fame and platform that she has now. So, yeah, Jews bad. Upper Baker of Daddy. Opinions on Somali fraud in Minnesota, billions. David, do you know anything about that?
I've just seen some stuff, pretty bad.
Upper Baker of Daddy's opinion on Australian government response to Bondi Beach. David, have you seen the response?
I think they're just saying, oh, do you see this, the problem with guns?
Yeah, ridiculous. Charlie told me in a dream that Candace killed him. Must be true. Noam Ilfshitz says, shame on Ben for not upholding Islamic values. Very true. Crazy how Charlie's friends want us to believe he'd be angry at Ben for calling out Candace than to Candace accusing his wife of unaliving him.
Yep.
Yeah, Candace implied that, or directly said that Erica Kirk is complicit in the murder of Charlie Kirk. So she's an evil demon. Steph, missed you guys. Good to see you. Bye, Candace. Thank you, Steph. Good to see you.
Bye.
Opinion on the Christian response by the dear lady of Target, Jeannie, who wrote the red Charlie Kirk shirt and was bullied by a loudmouth liberal. Never heard of it. David, thank you.
Well,
Alex Trim Del Norte says, crazy how the hadith says that Zut rode Momo, but it doesn't say from what point A to what point B. Almost like the riding was all at a single location. Mm-hmm. That is true. That's a good point. Thank you. Paul, podcasters never meet and burn Qurans together. They would never do some stuff like that. I've never seen another podcaster live in person. Joe here is, but it's my preference to Rob. You're so bigoted. True. MTX. Also, did you see Amru Fuddle wearing a Cookie Monster hoodie at Turning Point USA? I didn't return to Christ to hang out with Nazis. We should be ashamed. I did see that, and I think that whoever let him in and whoever hosted him and whoever posed with him should be ashamed. In fact, I posted about it. Here it is. Here is Amru Fuddle, who calls himself Myron Gaines. Here is him. Here is he with a Let Him Cook shirt, which is actually quite clearly a mockery of the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very funny because the Nazis would probably sterilize this guy. But here he is praising the Nazis and mocking the Holocaust. But when I go in person and confront him and say you are a Holocaust denier and a Holocaust advocate, he's like, no, I'm not like that at all. Not like that. He's such a freaking coward in person.
Total coward.
He is such a coward in person. He said live on stream that he is going to debate me on this very topic. He said he's going to do it. He will do it. I confronted him in person and was no, I can't. No, it's no. Then I went to him again and he started yelling at me and shouting at me and calling me names. He's a coward.
What do you expect with a name like Elmer Fudd? Do you even know who Elmer Fudd is?
Of course I do, man. Of course I do. What's wrong with you?
He's probably worried. Like he thinks, I'll go hunting apostate prophet. But he's worried that you're going to crawl down a hole and he's going to take his shotgun, point it down in the hole, but you're going to add a bunch of extra parts to the barrel and make it go underground and then come up behind him, and then he's going to shoot, and the bullet's going to shoot himself in the butt. That's what he's worried about in a debate.
Yeah.
Because his name's Elmer Fudd, and I saw that happen many times to Elmer Fudd.
It is a reality. Tatiana, what's up, Tatiana? TPUSA folded and took the speech down. I'm pissed. Did they take it down? I don't know.
Which one?
I think they never published it.
Which one?
Ben Shapiro's speech.
I don't think they'd fold that one.
But now that you say it, let me check if it's still on Rumble. Turning Point USA, Turning Point USA. I'm pretty sure that it was part of the plan for them to have that speech before all other speeches. In fact, I can imagine that Erica Kirk coordinated it with Ben Shapiro and said to Ben Shapiro, go out there and destroy them. And he did. It is still on their Rumble channel. I think they never published it on their YouTube channel. So, just turned 36.
Wait, this just happened, right? Like recently? If the audio is messed up, they might be like wanting to get a recorded version and use that.
Yeah, it is on Ben Shapiro's own channel. So, just turned 36. Can you sing me a All Zoot birthday song? Says Nicholas Shaw. Of course.
Happy birthday to Zoot. Happy birthday to Zoot. Happy birthday, Al Zoot. Happy
Eris and AB
birthday.
would be stone drunk if he took a shot every time Candace was said. That's true.
Can you imagine if you took a shot every time she says okay? I don't know why that doesn't annoy people more. It's annoying.
Okay.
What's the same one I'm going to say? Okay.
Okay.
And blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to say okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That was Lethal Weapon 3 and 4. They had that Joe Pesci on there, and his character was always going, okay, 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 okay. That's what she sounds like.
Let's continue to Tucker Carlson's reaction to Ben Shapiro's
Wait. Hang on. There's one little short clip you got to watch first. It's in the private chat. It's a short one.
I don't know what a private chat is.
There's a private chat right there on the side.
I know. I'm just mocking you.
There's a short one.
Let's see.
And I haven't. It's not because I want to. I haven't seen it, but I want to see it because I just saw it. Pop
Rob
up.
Schneider roasted the living hell out of Candace Owens. I want to warn her fans weeks ago that Candace would soon become the running joke of the internet. Who's Rob Schneider?
He was on Saturday Night Live, and then he was in a bunch of movies.
Oh, this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Venezuelan boats were blown up. I just heard that Candace Owen has proof that the Venezuelan boats were blown up by the Zionist state of Israel. And it's true because Candace had a dream about it. All of Candace's dreams come true, especially the dream she had when she was a little girl about one day becoming the biggest grifter the internet has ever seen. But there is a glimmer of hope. After a conversation that she had with Erica Kirk, Candace Owens has promised to be 3% less completely retarded. But we must give Candace credit. She's not afraid to ask the important questions like, does Emmanuel Macron's elderly wife have a penis? No other journalist has been so fearlessly laser focused on world leaders' possible wives' penises. I hate to break it to Candace, but the only person interested in the genitals of Brigitte Macron is Candace Owen. Even her husband, Emmanuel Macron, isn't interested in Brigitte Macron's genitals and hasn't been since he was at least 14 years old.
Dude, the audience is joining in. Candace, you're a joke, Candace.
But here's the thing: Rob Schneider's a Jew, man.
Oh, well. Okay, so we can't trust him. Alhamdulillah. Because he's a Talmudic Jew. I tried watching Carter's discussion with Jillian Michaels over the platforming of Nick Fuentes, and it was completely in bad faith, disappointed in him. I gotta check that out sometime. AP, I had to be that guy. Piers Morgan really did get utterly humiliated by Nick Fuentes. I also, unfortunately, didn't get your thoughts on that debate. Yeah, I was supposed to go live about that, but couldn't. Anyway, let's see. Hey, don't play songs, man. It's gonna get canceled.
Walking out is always such a trip. Thank you. Walking out is always such a trip at these things.
Oh, hey.
I just got here and
Rob Schneider converted to Catholicism in 2023. I was like, didn't he say some Christian stuff? Didn't I see him saying some Christian stuff? Yeah, so he became a Catholic in 2023.
Wait, he's a Catholic? Oh, that's funny. I'm a convert to Catholicism.
Wait a minute. Candace Owens is a Catholic.
Interesting.
Why is he criticizing her?
Interesting.
I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say the first part of the...
Now listen to this. Listen to Tucker Carlson's reaction. He came in after Ben Shapiro. Listen to how he starts.
Program. Hope I didn't miss any. I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say...
That's actually funny.
True, but
that's funny.
Pay attention to the terrible joke that he is just making. What happened before him? Who spoke first, David, as we just noticed?
Ben Shapiro.
No. Who spoke before Ben Shapiro?
Erica Kirk.
Yeah. So he comes on here and he jokes about how he missed the first part of the show and hopes he didn't miss anything important. Of course, he's taking a jab here at Ben Shapiro with this very, very funny joke, and thereby also insulting Erica Kirk. Very good move, man. Solid move. Solid move.
Hey, I don't think I did.
And then he even says, I don't think I did. Very, very solid move, man. He really thought through this joke very, very well.
No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. See,
how the hell is that funny?
Wait, his laugh? That laugh?
How is that funny?
that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way.
What is this crap?
Do you hear the audience? Listen to the laughter of the audience in response to his joke here.
That emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way.
Did you hear how many people laughed?
Yeah, that's super funny.
What is this, man?
It's only the funniest thing ever.
Here calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event. I'm like, what? This is hilarious.
He's the only person laughing in the whole room. Of 30,000 people, he's the only person laughing at that.
Denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event. I'm like, what? This is hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips...
I apologize. There are two more people laughing.
I was listening to myself.
What? Yeah.
Thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events, they always play, like, the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, you know, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, you know, to help, and I really felt that was important. I still think, you know, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole, like, Red Guard culture.
Look, there were times when I listened to Tucker Carlson when I heard him speak and I thought, oh, that's kind of funny. That's interesting. I'm sorry, but he came in here completely rattled and nervous and stressed out.
And he's trying to compensate.
He's trying to compensate. He's trying to be funny and is clearly not funny. It's one of those moments where you are nervous and you're trying to be funny and it's clearly not funny. You have no idea what you're doing. and it's so painfully cringeworthy, man.
AP,
He took it very seriously and very personally.
I still try to learn the lingo of the young people, but is this what young people would refer to as cringe?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm learning that word correctly. All right.
What kind of humor is this, man? What kind of joke is this?
But which it's not. It's a noun. Don't steal my nouns. Deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else?
That was a good one.
The whole like Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to...
Now, here's the funny thing. Tucker Carlson comes in and some people listen to him and actually think that he's making a good point or responding to the issue. What did he say so far? He said, he says here that Ben Shapiro was calling for people to be canceled and deplatformed. We just listened to Ben Shapiro's speech. Did Ben Shapiro ever call for people to be deplatformed or canceled? No, he didn't. What he did say is that if you're going to host horrible people like this, and glaze over them, take responsibility for your actions. Challenge them. Don't glaze over them. That's what
he
he's
specifically referred to the kinds of questions you ask.
Yeah. He never ever said, don't platform this person. Don't platform that person. Don't platform that person. Tucker Carlson could have very, very well platformed Nick Fuentes and actually challenged him on things instead of inviting him and being like,
and AP, would you be fine with that? Because I would be.
I would love it.
Matter of fact, you were just volunteering to platform Nick Fuentes. You were saying you'd love to talk to him.
In fact, as a matter of fact, remember a year ago, you, I, and IP were live. It was supposed to be live on my channel, but I said, hey, I can't do that right now. Let's do it on somebody else's channel. So IP said, I'll do it. So we went on his channel and we made a live stream responding to Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes got wind of that and sent people over to spam the live stream and to tell people to invite Nick Fuentes and let him speak for himself. He was actively watching. In fact, he was posting screenshots of our live stream on his Telegram channel. I then noticed that I checked his Telegram channel. I noticed that he's watching us. So I said, hey, if Nick Fuentes wants to come and defend and speak for himself, I am all for it. In fact, I am happy. I'm very, very happy to sit down, invite him to the channel, and have a one-on-one or 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, whatever he wants to have, a one-on-one with Nick Fuentes in which I can ask him all the questions I have. I'm happy to do that. Absolutely happy to do that. The point is not that nobody should be platforming people like Nick Fuentes. The point is that people should be platforming him and asking him proper questions instead of depicting him as a hero. No, not 30-on-1. That's only Muhammad.
We still need to make a debate show called Zooted.
Yeah.
Arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my...
Yeah. So what Tucker Carlson is doing here is he's going into the speech and immediately straw-manning Ben Shapiro, acting like he is the victim and acting as if Ben Shapiro called for people to be deplatformed. Never happened. Never happened.
Speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted.
Who has said that? What is he even talking about?
For Donald Trump. And because they're just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be. But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive, well, I wonder why you're asking that question. I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul.
What is he even talking about?
He's talking about with the USS Liberty dude, which that makes perfect sense. Why, of all the things you could focus on I mean, Ben wasn't saying anything about Israel, and you have an opportunity to ask Ben Shapiro. He just said a bunch of stuff. He's talking about Candace and Tucker and everyone. And what about the USS Liberty? Okay, what do you actually? What's your goal here? What are you trying to accomplish by bringing this up? What is your intention here? That kind of makes perfect sense.
That wasn't. He didn't say, "Oh no, why are you asking that question? No?" He responded to the question. He thoroughly went through it, and then he said, "I suspect that you have an ulterior motive here, because you're focusing on the one thing that is already resolved. Why?"
And everyone listening should know that listening to you implicates them, and that they someday may be asked to denounce you, and that friendship is not a reason to defend someone. Love is no defense. I kind of thought we'd reached the end of that, and as far as I'm concerned, we have, and I'm not going to play by those rules.
That's not what he said either.
Yep, that's not what he said either.
Yeah, that's not. Oh, loving someone is no reason to defend them. That doesn't mean you should just mindlessly agree with everything they say and never criticize their insane ideas.
For example, I'm friendly with David, but I always point out that David is a horrible person. For example.
Yeah. See,
you can do it.
Yeah. Not going to engage in that. If someone doesn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view. But since we're on the topic, I think I should take the opportunity to explain why Charlie was under all this pressure, and I think Erica, who I just saw backstage, and whom I love, and who I can tell you is totally committed to continuing the core principle of Charlie's public life, which is the right of every person to express what he believes. That is rooted in Christian faith. We believe people should be able to say what they think because...
Hang on here. I want to listen to this here because I heard this and I thought, what the hell?
Life, which is the right of every person to express what he believes. That is rooted in Christian faith. We believe people should be able to say what they think because they have souls. They're human beings created by God. They are not slaves. They are not animals. They are not objects. You cannot tell another human being to shut up, even shut up racist, because you don't own him. He is an independent, autonomous person created by God as an individual. Okay, so that's where that belief comes from. That's where free speech comes from. And there's no accident. This is the only country in the world that protects it because our founding documents were informed, as you just heard so nicely expressed by Michael Knowles, my friend, by people who self-consciously incorporated Christian precepts into their structure of government. So Charlie was committed to that, but the people around him were like, you can't because it's not that Carlson's wrong. My only point was I don't want a land war with Iran.
So here's my question, David. He says here that that free speech is rooted in Christianity. It went further, and his channel actually posted, "This is the basis of Christianity." The basis of Christianity.
I'm not an anti-Semite for a very specific reason, not because it's unpopular or my donors don't like it. I don't have any donors. I'm not an anti-Semite because anti-Semitism is immoral. In my religion, it is immoral to hate people for how they were born. Period. But that is not a limited principle. That is a universal principle. It applies to every human being on planet Earth. You are prohibited by my religion, which is Christianity, from hating people for how they were born, because God created them with his spark in his image. because they have souls. You can disagree with them. You can hate their ideas. You may even find yourself, and I do, I'll confess it, hating them for a moment. But you can't hate everyone who's like them. You can't punish people for crimes they didn't commit. That's the basis of our justice system. That's the basis of Christian ethics. That's why we have what are called human rights. They apply to every human, not just your group, not just my group, but every group, every human, because we don't consider people in terms of the groups to which they belong. We consider them as individuals the way that God created them.
It kind of appears weird to me to say this is the basis of Christianity. It even appears weird to me to say this is the basis of Christian ethics. Then again, I don't want to nitpick here.
No, that is a weird way. I don't know what he's intent. This is the basis, like the foundation of Christianity. What?
And that's what it
sounds like. That's a weird statement. I don't know.
The basis of Christianity is this.
Yeah, keep in mind though, that's the Tucker Carlson network. I don't know if Tucker actually said that versus some like 16-year-old intern or something.
That's a very strange theological point here. So anyway, let's continue.
I got over my skis and said I didn't want another regime change war with Iran. Rather than explain why we should have a regime change war with Iran, which I'd be happy to listen to, he's an anti-Semite. He's an anti-Semite. Which I said, well, obviously that's not true. And Charlie said, I know. And then it just didn't stop. So I continued to say, I'm not an anti-Semite.
Wait a minute. Understating his obsession with regime change war with Iran.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, when people are calling him an anti-Semite, was it because he's platforming like every anti-Semite on the planet to say every deranged conspiracy theory about Jews and not pushing back and helping them do that? Or was it because he said he's against the United States being involved in a regime change in Iran? Which one of those was why he was called an anti-Semite?
It's because he was hosting all the neo-Nazis and letting them spew all kinds of lies and conspiracy theories and evil.
So he's just strawmanning right now?
And he was hosting people and also agreeing with them that Israel is basically behind everything and the Jews are responsible for things and all that without any pushback at all. And lastly, even now, for hosting Nick Fuentes and licking his genitals, basically. That's why people were calling him an anti-Semite. And I believe that he's an anti-Semite. So.
We don't care what you say, you're lying, you are. So let me just affirm one final time, not only am I not an anti-Semite, and would say so if I was, I'm not an anti-Semite for a very specific reason, not because it's unpopular or my donors don't like it. I don't have any donors.
Hold up, hang on. Who's he? He's not responding to Ben here, right? Because Ben was basically criticizing Candace and him for like dividing what was happening, right? Causing division where awesome things were happening and ruining it.
I don't think he knows what he's responding to.
I think he just heard, oh, Jew said something, therefore I'm being accused of being an anti-Semite right now.
That's true.
I'm not an anti-Semite because anti-Semitism is immoral. In my religion, it is immoral to hate people for how they were born. Period.
Now, I have to say one thing, which is, as much as I dislike, and at this point, dislike Tucker Carlson, credit where credit is due, he could have simply refused to say that. So the fact that he did indeed go out here, and even if with an ulterior motive, right? Even if with an ulterior motive, the fact that he did go on here and say that he's not anti-Semitic because anti-Semitism is evil and immoral, I actually appreciate that. That said, I don't believe him.
But that is not a limited principle. That is a universal principle.
Now, David, you will never guess where he goes with this thought.
It applies to every human being on planet Earth. You may not. You are prohibited by my religion, which is Christianity, from hating people for how they were born. Because God created them with his spark in his image. Because they have souls. You can disagree with them. You can hate their ideas. You may even find yourself, and I do, I'll confess it, hating them for a moment. But you can't hate everyone who's like them. You can't punish people for crimes they didn't commit. That's the basis of our justice system. That's the basis of Christian ethics. That's why we have what are called human rights. They apply to every human, not just your group, not just my group, but every group, every human, because we don't consider people in terms of the groups to which they belong. We consider them as individuals the way that God created them. So anti-Semitism is not just naughty, it's immoral.
Naughty.
And it is precisely as immoral as hating any other group. And that would include other groups in the United States that are hated and have been under attack for decades. And that would include white men who did nothing to become white men. They were born that way. And just because you have a beef with a white man, let's just say Donald Trump, doesn't mean you get to punish all the rest of the white men in the country.
What decade is this, man? I agree with him completely. Anti-white racism is bad and nonsense, and I agree with that completely. But I'm sorry, but this just strikes me as an attempt to somehow win the audience over again by appealing to something that people in a conservative environment maybe care about on some level still, although nobody's talking about it. Like, hey, let me say something that you guys might agree with. let me say this one thing that everybody here might agree with because this is a conservative event. What about, hey, hating white people is bad, right? Dude, look, I agree with you fully. But this is just such a pathetic attempt, man. It is, you can see through it. It's such a pathetic attempt at winning people over. You can say something that I completely agree with, but it's so obvious that you're in a completely irrelevant environment and time bringing it up just to win people over, to touch this emotional bone somewhere. It's so pathetically ridiculous.
And yet, our leaders, not just of our Congress.
But David, it gets worse. You will never guess where he takes this thought.
The executive branch under Biden, but of every major U.S. corporation, of every college in the country, probably except Hillsdale and 2 others, every single one for more than 10 years has engaged in a systematic effort to hurt white men because they are white men. That is racism that is precisely as bad as anti-Semitism, but it is much more widespread and has been so far much more damaging. And my point is, if you said nothing about that, or if you encouraged it by, say, cheering on BLM, which was an anti-white hate group, and said so, then you have no moral standing to lecture me about bias. Period. Because all bias is the same. You are not allowed to hate people based on their bloodline. We do not believe in blood guilt. We reject blood guilt. That's why our justice system is just. That's why our religion is just. Every person has the possibility of transformation.
Period.
Paul is wandering around, Saul of Tarsus is wandering around murdering Christians. Then he decides, well, I'll walk to Syria. And he's met on the road by Jesus, who changes him. And in one day, he becomes the most energetic church planter and apostle.
He was on a horse
of Christianity in one day.
Period.
He went from enemy to leader in one day.
This is so funny. He's just rambling, man. There is no.
Hey, what will be appealing to a lot of these people? Hey, everyone's at war against white people, right? Hey, we don't like the people who are mad at white people, right?
What about hating white people? What about, hey, we like Christianity, right? Christianity? We're like, yeah. What about, hey, Christianity? See Christianity? Yeah.
This guy is rattled. He has no idea where he's even going with this.
And that possibility exists for every human being, every human being. That's what our Christian faith tells us. That's also what our eyes tell us. There are no permanent enemies. There cannot be. And I would extend this to even people who attack me from this stage. They'll say, if we agree on something, I'm happy to be friends with you. You may have been mean to me one day. Well, I was mean to you too. That's all right. There's always the possibility that we can recognize we have more in common than divides us and come back together. There are no permanent enemies. There is no such thing as blood guilt, and collective punishment in this country, in the Middle East, anywhere on the planet is totally immoral. And if you want to know what makes America exceptional, it's that idea. And it's our job to defend it. So I guess I would just say to the many organizations now, and particularly this applies to the Anti-Defamation League, which has cheered on anti-white hatred for decades, has attacked anyone who said anything about it, which has been...
Look how the audience doesn't even care.
One of the most aggressive cheerleaders for hate against white men in the United States, now trying to lecture the rest of us about hate. I would say it's enough to point out the irony of that. Come to our side, which is the side of humanity, and oppose all hate against all people. Say out loud, hate against whites is every bit as bad as hate against Jews. It's a universal principle, or it's not a principle. It's just a preference. If it's not a universal principle, it's not a principle. It's just a preference. It's just identity politics.
He lost the crowd, man.
And we've had enough of that. And that's the one thing that will destroy this country, certainly. The only thing that will save it is the understanding that principles upon which America was founded apply to every single human being always. So I just want to say that. By way of saying that I'm not just...
Look at the response from the audience, man. They're loving it. They're loving it so much. Oh, it's such a good speech.
Situationally opposed to anti-Semitism. I'm actually opposed to anti-Semitism. And I hope that the ADL will join me. I'll send them money, by the way, if they come out against hate aimed at anyone and everyone.
Whites.
Hope they will. But let me just say something more broadly about where the conservative movement, whatever that is, the people who voted for Trump, the Trump coalition, and the supposed civil war going on within that group. I don't think it's real. I think it's fake. I think it's totally fake. I don't think, and I've had cause to think.
But David, you will never guess where this is going.
To get there, except a few, and they're the ones running around calling everyone an anti-Semite. But everyone else is like, yeah, of course, that should be the debate. And they'll vote for you. They want that because they know they haven't had that. That's the fact. And what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims, it's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republicans. What the hell are you doing? What you're doing is trying to divide the country. And I've lived through 50 years of this crap.
Yeah.
All these
shame
race wars that
on
they're
Charlie
promoting.
Kirk.
Oh, go hate each other while we loot the treasury. That's exactly what's going on. And
Shame
most
on
people
Charlie
are
Kirk.
totally...
Especially Charlie Kirk, man.
Yeah.
What
and
up?
all you turning point losers who go along with Charlie Kirk and thinking that Islam is actually a problem. Tucker's here to correct you all.
Charlie Kirk
face.
makes me sick.
In your face.
Islamophobe Charlie Kirk makes me sick.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting to see
All of
this.
Turning Point is disgusting because they have a problem with Islam.
There was, by the way, no context at all leading up to this. He just randomly started talking about how people hate Muslims.
You know what it looked like? I mean, it looked like okay, people are accusing me of being an anti-Semite. A Jew just said a bunch of stuff, and people were obviously on his side on a bunch of it. So let me start off. I'll say anti-Semitism is bad, and I'm not an anti-Semite, so I'll defend myself. Then I'll win over the crowd by saying, what about all the attacks on white people? Colleges are against white people. That'll win over the crowd, and then I'll make my commercial for Islam that Qatar paid me to put out there.
Qatar. Now let's see how Islamophobic Charlie Kirk was. Thanks to chain migration, Muslims are now a majority in Michigan's Dearborn Heights, named after a Revolutionary War general. Now, local police have rolled out the country's first ever police badge with Arabic script. When you get conquered, you get a new language. Dude, this was September 4th, several days before he was killed. This guy was really Islamophobic, man.
Yeah. It's a good thing Tucker's finally calling him out right there at AmFest.
Importing millions of Muslims is civilizational suicide. Europe must stop or die. September 2. This guy is crazy racist, man. Wow. August 31. They aren't even hiding their intentions. Muslims plan to conquer Europe by demographic replacement. Will Europe wake up in time? Dude, man, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, think. Why can't Tucker be more direct, like Ben? Right? Ben laid out some really bad, really dangerous ideas, and then he named names. He called them out by name.
Hey, look at that.
I'm talking about Candace. I'm talking about Tucker. He called them out by name. Tucker here is going off on the Islamophobes and so on. Why isn't he just calling them out by name and saying, and this is about, I'm talking about Charlie and the damage he's done to Muslims.
This is the best Charlie Kirk tweet, by the way.
Ridvan Idemir, dumb name, an ex-Muslim who escaped from the cult of Islam and became a Christian, says we must prioritize stopping the influx of Muslims to the West, and we should prioritize deporting explicitly political Islamist organizations and people. I agree. Well, as long as he said this like 20 years ago, before he had time to think through things and so on, we can forgive him for things that were said, years ago.
Oh, wait a minute. He said it on July 27th this year.
Oh, dude, how are you not making like a short video about this? Posting what Tucker said and then posting a bunch of things that Charlie Kirk said.
So let's see.
How?
Charlie posted my speech and said an ex-Muslim who escaped from the cult of Islam and became a Christian says we must prioritize stopping the influx of Muslims to the West, and we should prioritize deporting explicitly political Islamist organizations and people. I agree. This is Charlie Kirk. And then posts my speech. Wait, what the hell? There must be something wrong with Twitter. Because had I ever... That doesn't make sense. I must have liked and retweeted that at least once. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, I said, thank you, Charlie. And he said, great speech. I recommend everyone listen to the entire thing. So... this is what Charlie thought. But Tucker Carlson thinks this is very Islamophobic, of course. Very, very bad. Here is Charlie Kirk again. Muslims are commanded to take over the government in the land they live. The attempted Islamic takeover of America is made possible thanks to mass migration. Crazy, man. This guy is crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And so on. So Tucker Carlson goes on stage here and gives a speech and directly attacks Charlie Kirk.
And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim.
What?
It's so easy. You play you do a little intro. Hi, this is the Apostate Prophet, and welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And you play a couple clips of what Tucker. You play the clip of what Tucker just said, and then you say, here's some tweets. You go through some tweets, and you title it Tucker Carlson blast Charlie Kirk at AmFest or something like that. Boom. Nice. You're back, baby. You're back to making videos all of a sudden. And it would be easy. You could do all of that in an hour.
I'm already in the process of getting back to making videos.
Oh yeah, I keep hearing that. I've heard that for the last 7 years.
This time it's for real.
And what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims, it's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not.
It's so funny how he has to clarify that he's not a secret jihadi. I'm not.
I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not.
Really? Seriously, I'm not. I swear, I'm not. I'm not a secret Muslim, I swear. Believe me, I'm not.
You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republicans. What the hell are you doing? What you're doing is trying to divide the country. And I've lived through 50 years of this crap.
Where he, by the way, participated in talking trash about Muslims and Islam. Now he's acting like others did it. Anyway, now that David is gone, let's finally take some super chats. Zutkert Katarson, good job. Well done, very nice, I agree. Don't call Candace what you call her in the thumbnail. It's unfair to lump innocent people with Down syndrome in the same category as her. Well, I wouldn't say that calling somebody retarded targets or in any way insults people with Down syndrome. I don't think so. Similar as calling somebody dumb for expressing a very dumb opinion, or calling somebody stupid for expressing a very stupid opinion does not equal insulting people with a low IQ. I don't think that people with a low IQ can do anything for it. So when I say that somebody is of very low intelligence or somebody is very stupid because of something very stupid that they said, I am not thereby insulting people who have a low IQ problem. I'm just pointing out that somebody is saying something that sounds incredibly stupid for an intelligent person. Similarly, somebody who seemingly has a functioning brain but can't form coherent thoughts and is incredibly retarded in their thinking, I would call retarded because they are speaking in a very retarded way for an intelligent person, or for a healthy, normal, regular person. I'm not saying that people who have intellectual deficiencies or disabilities are bad or anything like that. So. Kale Grandy, Piers Morgan is so annoying. Terrible interview, like Jerry Springer without the fight. So unfortunately, Nick did make him look foolish, probably. Blue Moon, Candace now is back talking about the Holocaust and Jews, all because a Jew talked about her. No, she's not anti-Semitic at all. FYI, she compared what Ben did to a slave owner going after his slave. I know she did. She's a horrible person. GV, God bless everyone here. Russell Brand's accent isn't as bad as northern Minnesota accents in the 1980s. I swear that weren't speaking Americans. He doesn't have an accent. You have an accent. Matt, Tucker is but a stone throw from taking his shahada, about as far as Abdullah ibn Masud was from the other suit. Fox McCloud, Groiper for the most don't actually go to church. They like to LARP on the internet. Huh. That's what you claim. Bad Islam Choices says, Candace and Tucker have moved the Overton window so far that my feed is filled with actual memes glorifying Hitler. They enabled it to be mainstreamed. They have indeed. David Bell, need advice. My aunt-in-law is a Muslim, and when I try to tell her about issues with Islam, Aisha and child marriage, etc., she just says that she's Shia, and all that's not true. Got any pointers? Stay based. David, do you have any recommendations? Thank you.
Well,
all of the experiments. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's true that the sources we quote are from Sunni sources, but
go on a rant. I'll be right back.
There's plenty of things. There's plenty of things to bring up. Now, the child marriage issue, that's from the Quran. It's Surah 65, verse 4. But I have to say, even though Sunni commentators are pretty unanimous on what Surah 65 verse 4 means. You can go to Tafsir Ibn Abbas, Ibn Kathir, Jalalain. You go down the list. Tabari, everyone says it. That 65:4 is about marrying, having sex with, and divorcing girls before they've reached the age of puberty. I don't think I've ever looked up what Shia commentators have said about that. So, yeah, but I mean, you can go with other issues. So anyway, and you can always say, whatever the issue is, that if the vast majority of Muslim commentators who are Sunnis all came to the same conclusion about what the Quran is saying there, how clear can the Quran really be? And isn't it dangerous that Allah said it in a way that the vast majority of Muslims are going to interpret it as justifying sex with prepubescent girls?
Are you done?
No. With that said, you might want to look up what their commentators say.
Yes. Ostidistri says, Tucky, Candace, and Nick lower everyone's IQ. I think I figured out why they all like Islam. That's a good point. That's a good point. On an unrelated note, do you think Nick has a cousin? For cousin marriage? Probably. Olivia, hey, what's up, Olivia? Nice to see you here. Thank you for calling out Ben and standing up for the Israel First cause. Pretend this is $7,000. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Olivia. It was good to meet you at, where was that? One of the debates. Paul, Jesus, you will fight for family for the gospel. You will fight your family for the gospel. Ben, say truth even if it's about your friends. Mainstream conservatives, no friendship is above truth. I'm not sure if it's mainstream conservatives, but Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson seemingly have that position. No, it's my friend. I can't call them out. Cale Grandy, is Tucker compromised by Qatar? In his Q&A, he went on about some conservatives calling out the truth about the poor Muslims and their beliefs. Did he? I didn't watch the Q&A section. No, I'm curious. No, I'm really curious. I'm real curious right now. Let's see. I don't have the Q&A section on this one. Can't check it out. The guy who brought up the USS Liberty was so stupid it actually made my brain hurt. No, but the truth matters. The truth matters. The truth. Wraith Red AP, why do you worship Ezra? Because I want to. Leave me alone, man. E. Matthew, my favorite part, my fav part, you should use that properly. Fav is actually an argument against Islam, so don't confuse those things. When you say favorite, you should either spell out favorite or say fave, because fav is actually a proper argument against Islam that goes falsification by authoritative variance. That is a new argument against Islam that is a very, very solid one, which you can probably look up and find somewhere. Which we still need to flesh out. Anyway, my favorite part about being Jewish is living in the heads of the Groypers rent-free. That's pretty based.
It is totally based.
Bluey, what's up, Bluey? AP and David would obviously crypto Jews. America first, repent and accept Christ. Ostidestri, AP, if you ever meet Ben Shapiro, you need to ask him why he thinks Ezra is the son of Allah. We need to know the truth. Hey, that's a very, very good idea. I'm gonna keep that somewhere in my mind. I'll go up to him and ask him why he worships Ezra. Paul, let's cancel relations with Japan, Pearl Harbor. True, let's do it. 4-star ball FTW says, your Judeo-Christian theology has failed miserably. Right-wing young men are unapologetically America first and Christ only. Nice try, though. Hey, thanks for the $4.99. Appreciate it. Get Al-Zuted says, Groiper, stop noticing that I'm approaching my late 20s. I'm still virgin and live with my mommy. Stop the noticing. People big mad when you notice.
Yeah, that's you in the previous comment.
Carson Dimension, hundreds of Allied troops in gliders were killed by friendly anti-aircraft fire during invasion of Sicily. It was probably deliberate. All friendly fire is deliberate.
Mm-hmm. And we will never forget.
Yeah, I never forgive. Too bad Islam choices. Pretending to care about the USS Liberty is a litmus test. It is very much. Jack Ray gifted 50 Apostate Prophet memberships. What's wrong with you? 50 memberships?
That's a lot of memberships. That's a lot of memberships.
Do you realize how many people you have imprisoned into this cult of which there is no way out? I don't know. At some point,
can you imagine if Jack Ray gifted a membership and like the penalty for leaving the memberships is death. Like
That'll
you
be-
said, we're gonna kill you if you leave. That's
It is
basically
totally based.
basically Islam.
That would be based, just like Islam. Islam is based. Amit Yanuka, the USS Liberty was an American false flag anyway. True. Paul, Jewett podcast, guy who found people are pranking Candace on her tip line, calls Candace fans Cantifas. Tend to agree, but will change first A to U. Very rude. 16 Medic RN gifted 1 membership. Thank you for this generous friendship gift. Jack Ray, hey AP. Oh, hi, David. I have to remember to use our super secret wingnut wave sign. This one. Also, remember the password. That's interesting. You forgot it last time. Yeah, I forgot it. I cannot repeat it here because it's secret. Caleb Robinson, did Muhammad commit shirk when he was worshipped that day? When he worshipped that day, he did. Liam Scott, I believe Candace that the mold did affect her brain. That is true. Very, very true. Camden, to make everyone happy except Muhammad on Nerdrotic, I sent a super chat there about the Al-Zut. What is Nerdrotic?
It's one of those nerd shows.
Nerdrotic, 1.23 million subscribers. I sent a super chat there about the Al-Zut, and the chat knows about the Al-Zut. You see Al-Zut?
Nice.
Dude, everybody knows about the Al-Zut now.
Yeah.
Shame on those who don't know about the Al-Zut. Mandis the Menace. Mandace the Menace. Nice. Ben Shapiro's sister is not attractive. Are you? I'm banning you. All right, banned. Alex Tremor del Norte says, you might have mixed up the title with the other book, Jews and the American Slave Trade by Saul S. Friedman. Might have done that. Yeah. Unicorn, a Muslim can buy a black African slave for $400 in Libya right now, still today. 1,400 years and still going. Hi, AP. David, thanks, as always. Thank you. Thank you. 4-star ball FTW, you're obsessed with Jews. David would last 10 videos, 8 out of 10 were in Islam. The lack of self-awareness is amazing. That's funny. Jack Ray, what's worse, a chat full of junior idiots or a chat full of gropers? No, really, which is worse? I would say that junior idiots is actually better. Gropers is worse. At least the junior idiots are kind of entertaining. Yeah. Elon,
kind of funny.
You're wrong about the USS Liberty incident. Israel was simply seeking war with a nuclear superpower while fighting 3 other countries at once. It is really ridiculous. There is literally no reason at all why Israel would at that point deliberately hit a US vessel. There was no benefit at all to Israel doing that. There was no benefit in the short term. There was no benefit in the long term. There literally really was no benefit at all. Israel did not benefit from the situation. Israel was only harmed by the incident. It's such a stupid conspiracy theory. Like most conspiracy theories, it doesn't make any sense. Paul, Candida Demon also said Jeremy Boring video detailing about Candace firing was lynching black person. It's like Kaepernick saying NFI is trade slave. Powerful. Victor Rodriguez made a super chat. Deborah Leonelli says Tucker's mouth is moving, he's lying. That's very rude. GoatHub.com, debate Nick in person so he cannot use an earpiece. That would be very nice. RSN says Tulsi Gabbard spoke on the threat of Islam at the event. It's published on YouTube. Did she? Tulsi Gabbard.
On YouTube.
America First. She probably spoke of the threat of Islamism, didn't she? Because that's what she usually do. That's what she usually does. I'm really curious.
Aloha! I am proud and who deeply believe in STEM. You know, I'm a little bit emotional walking out here because this is the first time we are gathered here for AmFest without Charlie Kirk.
Oh, never mind.
What? Islam.
That was just pub. Wait, no, I'm looking at the short here.
Islamist ideology, Islamist jihadis, Islamist ideology, Islamic principles. Wait a minute.
In America, threatening Western civilization, governance by Sharia law, governance by what they are calling their Islamic principles. And if you fail to comply, if you fail to adhere to this ideology, if you dare to exercise your God-given right to free speech, censorship is not what we face.
I'm actually happy that she went there and talked about this anyway. Islamist, yeah, it made it mostly about Islamist ideology, but still, I think this would be worth going through. David, nice. Can't blame Tucker. He got al-zooted in Qatar. So sad, says Camden. Allegedly, we don't know that. Leonard Audrey says, it's good to see my Fav Mossad agents, Candace, incoming major meltdown. The gaslighting is being recognized finally, and what a narcissist she is. I actually did want to go through Candace's whole thing, but she had a half hour long meltdown, in which she also, by the way, you know what, since we have a Christian audience here, in which she also, by the way, brought up something very, very interesting. She held up a book. Where is that? Let's go through the transcript. I think it was actually at the end of it, during the comments. Her whole show was about how Jews are the problem. She has gone full retard.
Outside of the Talmud, you describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud.
So here she's holding up a book. Apparently, she learned about what's in the Talmud by reading a book, as she's very clearly here indicating, that is called The Talmudic Jew. I would encourage anyone who has a little bit of a questioning mind to look up what this book is. It is a book that was written by a notorious...
yeah, I just looked it up.
Notorious guy named August Rohling, who was a great inspiration to the Nazis.
Dang, yeah. Hey, the term the Talmudic Jew primarily refers to an infamous, widely discredited, anti-Semitic book by August Rohling, first published as Der Talmud Jude in the late 19th century. The book and the phrase itself are core components of historical and modern neo-Nazi and anti-Semitic propaganda, relying on fabrications and misrepresentations to portray Judaism as immoral. Huh.
This
How
guy was
are you not
actually
making a little video on that, man?
This guy was actually
just...
directly challenged by scholars, Jewish and non-Jewish, on the contents of the Talmud in his time. He lived in the early 1900s, and he was completely clueless. He was challenged to give a translation of a simple Talmud passage. He was incapable of doing so. August Rohling is the guy. He is a he's dead. He was a pseudo-theologian. And here is the funny thing. So the book is full of lies about Jews and about the Talmud. He openly and clearly misrepresented things. He didn't understand the Talmud. He just made up things, as the Groypers do nowadays. But you know what the bigger problem here is, actually? The bigger problem, at least for now, in front of a Christian audience. This author, August Rohling, he didn't just hate Jews. You know what he also hated? Protestants. According to August Rohling, Protestants and Jews were basically two sides of the same coin. Evil people following an evil, I'm not sure, I don't remember what exactly he called it, but two groups that fell for the lies of the devil and that are basically ruining everything. That guy, August Rohling, who is a discredited, evil, ignorant Jew hater, was also very much hating Protestants. Of course, Kenneth Owens goes for people like that. And, you know, the target here is not just Jews. The target also very often turns into other Christians. Protestants, for example. The guy also hated Protestants. So she is up here promoting as a very reliable source, a guy who didn't just hate Jews, but also hated Protestants. Yes, by the way, Charlie Kirk was a Protestant to his last day. But she doesn't care. She hates you guys. Here I am appealing to the audience, as she usually does. She hates you guys too.
And I was also reading this book called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion and Mein Kampf. And they have some really great ideas that all of you really need to read and to understand what's going on, okay?
So here you go. If you want to draw connections, here's a very solid one. Candace Owens is an open enemy of Jews and of all Protestant Christians. There you go. That's the conclusion that I draw from what she has said so far. You can also see it in her reactions to what was that? One event, the inauguration or something else, where a Protestant preacher comes and she just starts mocking him. She hates other Christians too. That's what she is. But take the hint. Anyway, Paul. Shapiro said Tucker only read the Bible 2 years ago. Interesting. Baz the Dark Horse, call me a conspiracy theorist. I like the sound of being a theorist. I'm begging to suspect Ben Shapiro could be a Jew, you see. Yeah, the Jews are actually in control of Israel, which is pretty messed up. Blue Moon, so will he criticize Candace because she is one? Yes. Tucker's speech was mainly turkey gobble gobble. It was. Cogito ergo nuts. Yes. This is Tucker's version of Nixon's I am not a crook statement. It is very, very much so. Tucker Carlson saying, I'm not a jihadist. I'm not a jihadist. If you Google anosognosia, can you see Candace? Yes. Paradox Omnum says, what happened to This Week in Jihad with Robert Spencer and Daily Wire? David, what happened to that?
For the 77,000th time, Robert has way too much stuff to do, and so he's focusing on writing. And even though it was only an hour-long show, it was time-consuming getting all this stuff together. So he said he had to scale back on all non-essentials to focus on things he really has to get done.
So what happened to the show?
It's still on. It's just invisible.
Oh, okay. Eli, what's up, Eli? Very, 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 very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Love you both, said Eli Shamoon. We love you too. At least
Eli.
I love you, Eli. David probably doesn't because he doesn't have feelings. So I can only speak for myself. Miami Famous, if you Google, dude, this is the second time I'm reading this. We are approaching the birth of our Lord and Savior. These Ezra posts get out of hand, man.
These Ezra worshippers out of control, man.
It's on December 26th. Disobey 5615. Woohoo! I made a live stream finally. You didn't make a live stream. I made a live stream. You're just watching it. Paul rumors Tate coming to Miami. He has a federal warrant. That would be very funny. I also just saw that people are pushing Keir Starmer to have Andrew Tate delivered to the UK for his legal proceedings. Now, Keir Starmer is disgusting, but that would be the one thing that I would think is actually good that Keir Starmer did, if he did that. Favidio7 says, at this point, Charlie passed in vain.
No.
Not necessarily.
No, it's not done. If the Candace crowd wins or something like that, then you'd say, okay, then it didn't go in the direction we were hoping. But if I don't know, if people rise up and say, hey, you're not destroying this.
This sign is pretty cool. Stop. Erica Kirk.
It's pretty based.
Gusep says, why does the Al-Tirmidhi version of the Al-Zut Hadith leave out the sus content? Is this proof that the writing stuff was a later addition? No, it's actually proof that the writing stuff was later removed.
Yeah, normally that's how historians. I mean, I don't know how historians approach this particular story, but normally
Dude,
you don't
the historian.
You don't add in embarrassing stuff.
You are the historian, man.
You get rid of embarrassing stuff. In fact, I mean, we know this happened historically. I mean, things like the satanic verses and stuff, Muslims ended up like trying to scrub that from history. And like in the case of like Ibn Ishaq, like the later editor, Ibn Hisham, actually removed it from the text. So we know they remove embarrassing stuff that makes Muhammad look bad. They don't add embarrassing stuff that makes him look bad.
Dude, when did we start this whole thing of ratioing the Muslims hardcore?
That was pretty good.
This is a sincere question to non-Muslims who hate Muslims and Islam. Why do you hate Muslims and Islam? 183 likes. I responded to it with, we hate Islam because it promotes child marriage, slavery, sex slavery, killing apostates, killing blasphemers, fighting disbelievers, subjugating Christians and Jews, beating women, insulting Christians, insulting other religions, stupidity,
Don't let Tucker hear you say this, man.
7.6 thousand likes.
These poor guys, man. These poor guys. These guys are getting zooted left and right.
When did we start this? Candace in confession, bless me, Father, for I haven't sinned, but Israel made it look like I sinned. The feds were in on it because GoTup.com says Cam Higby just did an amazing debate on USS Liberty. Really? I gotta check that out. Paul, Candace said on show, people who criticize me will go to hell. Sounds like blasphemy. Quit herself. Conditioned for attention. No soup retweeted the video. Really? Gotta check that out. Gotta check that out. When was that though? She no soup posts like 50 million things a day. So no offense. I have to find that. David, what's the title of your sharing with nice Muslims video? I looked for it for my wife, but couldn't find it. She has a Muslim friend. It says Noel 2174.
Yeah, it's on some of the couple of the archive channels, but it's called How to Share Unpleasant Facts with Pleasant Muslims, if I recall correctly. Something along those lines. How to Share Unpleasant Facts with Pleasant Muslims, I think.
Pleasant Muslim?
There are pleasant Muslims, you racist. Gosh, Tucker was right about you, man.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic.
Tucker Carlson slams Charlie Kirk, an apostate prophet, at Amfest.
Ash Mays, not a single Jew in the history of Judaism has ever described themselves as a Talmudic Jew. Yeah, I caught that too. She says here, wait, I think
that you know what Ben Talmud is. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew.
Yeah. Nobody has ever called themselves a Talmudic Jew.
No values.
Well, Ben obviously does because Candace just said it.
You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew.
I'm a Talmudic Jew. I'm a Talmudic Jew. I only follow.
And as everyone knows, I'm a Talmudic Jew. That's what I believe. I'm a Talmudic Jew. I'm a Talmudic Jew first.
I'm a Talmudic Jew because everything outside of Talmud is trash.
Never.
If it's not Talmud, it's crap.
Kenneth says I can't be a Catholic because Jew. Probably. Miami famous. You check my account. I don't want to waste your time. Okay, good. We'll do it. Many bipolar people have anosognosia. Good. You will see why Kenneth cannot stop. Good. Why can't Dr. Wood and AP fill in for this week in Jihad until Dr. Spencer has more time? Or one of you guys do research for Dr. Spencer? David, yeah, David, why don't you do that? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that is...
What kind of friend are you?
Dude, this is complete idiotic nonsense right here. Robert was able to
What's wrong with you, man?
Robert was able to do that because he covers Jihad all week and picks up all the major stories and would cover them. If you're saying we should do that, you'd be saying we should spend all week studying Jihad, the latest cases of Jihad around the world so that we can do that 1 hour show. No, you're saying don't do all the other stuff we're doing. No.
And plus, I don't care.
You can literally go on Robert's site, Jihad Watch, and get all the stuff. We were just talking about it in a live stream. Or I'll say, if you want that show done, you can do the show. You can read all that stuff and do a show about it.
Yeah, and if it's not in the Talmud, then it doesn't matter to me anyway, because I only follow the Talmud. Whatever is in the Talmud, that's what I follow, because I'm a Talmudic Jew. If it's not in the Talmud, then it's probably the trash. I'm not going to do
Paul, it was 2 weeks ago, I think. Use Grok to find it. Oh, no, I'm not going to use Grok to find it. Grok should use me to find it. Go top
Because
music.
he doesn't like the truth.
I'll find you. There can only be one. To be honest, I'm getting Candace fatigue. She is so exhausting. She is indeed. Everybody's getting Candace fatigue. No, she said that can't be Jewish and Catholic. Really? She did say that? That's pretty messed up.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. She was saying that. She was saying you have to pick one or the other. And she said the moment you decide to be a Christian, you are no longer Jewish.
And of course, I have to be Jewish because I want to follow the Talmud. I'm a Talmudic Jew because I
remember responding to that where Paul is talking about himself as a Jew, and then when he's greeting
Paul can't be a Jew
when he's greeting all the Christians in the church at Rome, he's like specifically mentioning ones who are his fellow Jews and so on. So he didn't think that once you became a Christian, you were suddenly no longer Jewish.
But I can't be a Jewish and a Talmudic Jew and a Catholic because you have to
Candace
be a
says
Talmudic
that.
Jew or a Catholic. So.
Candace decides these things.
Can you do me a favor and quickly check it? No, I can't. Lugusep said, I thought you were going to review the Javad debate. I thought so too. All right, David, anything else? What are we doing tomorrow?
What do people want us to do tomorrow?
Good point. All right.
Hey, hang on. Everyone. While AP's been goofing off and dilly-dallying, there's been like 9,000 live stream worthy topics.
It's called 9,000, not 9,000. There is a D at the end.
9,000 live stream worthy topics. We have to pick one for tomorrow. So I'm going to go to sleep after this. But tomorrow I'll check the comments on this live stream. So tell me which topic you'd like us to focus on for tomorrow's live stream. And then if you see someone mentioning the one you were thinking of, like that, and I'll look and see what people want most. And
leave a comment in the comment section down here on this video, but make sure that it's in alignment with the Talmud, because I'm a Talmudic Jew myself. So if I'm a Talmudic Jew, then I want something that is in alignment with the Talmud, because if it's not the Talmud, then I don't care.
Yeah. So what you probably want to post is you want us to do a live stream on why Talmudic Judaism is the best thing.
Talmudic Jew is best. As a Talmudic Jew myself, I only care about the Talmud. Everything else is trash. All right. Thanks, everybody. Leave a comment and suggest what you want David to review tomorrow, and make sure to like and push whatever you think is the worst topic to cover, so that David will be forced to cover it.
No, I still have veto power.
Yeah, really. Thank you, Ethio. Always good to see you here. Although I almost banned you on that one day when you disagreed with us on one thing. So
I'm still enraged about that. I'm like, we still got time to ban.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks everybody for watching. It's good to be back, and soon I will be really back.
Yes,
and even more back.
Back again.
Shady's back.
AP's back.
Different Strokes Apology says thanks. Well, thanks to you. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and as always, stay away from
Islam.
Beast.